focused soul made the integration, but he found love in an ice-cold nation, singing songs and dreaming about home, calling on leaders to heed my call. It's time to stand together, my brother. Heed the call. It's time to stand together, shake hands and help a broken stranger.
Well, hello, everybody. It is Tuesday. Tuesday something. What is the day? I lost track. It is the 20th. My God. Wasn't it just like April a second ago? What happened? It's like August in a minute. And then people are going to be talking about fall, and I'm like, are you? No. I can't do it. I can't be doing fall. I heard back to school stuff. I don't have kids, but my. Come on. I hope you all are good. We've got John in the well. I put him in a cave today. I'm gonna pass him a bucket. Tell him to put that lotion on. That lovely head of his. Can you imagine John with that lovely lotion on his head? I'm sure that's something. Oh, hey, look at you. I was singing. Yeah, I'm singing, Ash. How you doing? Great to see you guys. I'm excited. It's been a while. Feels like forever for whatever reason. Sammy Superstar hanging around. Sammy, I saw your. We'll talk about it. I saw your interview with John. We'll talk about that in a minute. That's really cool. A good friend, Brian Paul. He's all of our friends. Brian is like, we pass him around like a teddy bear. He's like our teddy bear friend. We just got. He is a streaming buddy. Sammy's already getting into the mic. Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm probably using it all incorrectly. Yeah, what's going on? All right, guys. So we're going to talk. I'm not going to say that I kind of cashed it in this week, but I didn't. I never believe in that. I really had a thought when I put together the thumbnail. I got into, I think I just labeled it idea buckets. I've been kind of hammering on this point a little bit. And I think a lot of the reason I am going through this phase is because I'm in a phase a lot of you maybe have passed through already, or maybe you're entering, and that is I'm in a phase of gathering. Like I'm still trying to learn this whole process and figure out how to put together my ideas. And here's the truth. The truth of it is our ideas as creators may be the most precious commodity that we have. So I guess my question is going to be a little bit, how do we store them? How do we develop them? What are you doing with them? Are we being careless with them? And I'm going to ask a few questions. You can drop in, but I'm going to bring in John here, bring the big guy on. He's had a big week. Punched out a VMix yesterday. It was awesome, and I'm really excited for what's coming on with that. So I'm not going to talk about it. Let's just bring John on and say hi to him.
Yeah.
Oh, there's our guy.
What's going on,
guy?
people? How we doing?
That's my karate.
Hong Kong Phooey. Remember Hong Kong Phooey?
Yeah, I do. I remember. I loved that stuff when I was a kid.
One of my favorites, man. Number one superstar, that guy.
Yeah. I was so into that. I'm from that Scooby-Doo age too, but I kind of lost me at Scrappy-Doo.
Oh,
wasn't a real
for
Scrappy
sure.
Doo guy.
Scrappy Doo was like, no, Scrappy is.
He ruined everything, man. He was just like, we got to take him back to the pound or the orphanage.
Yeah, please.
He was no fun at all, man.
No.
That's about the time cartoons on Saturday mornings die, but little
God.
sugar, little Frosted Flakes, little Saturday morning. Oh, what a good time that was, huh? What a good time. Oh, we got a lady killer in here. I love that. I just love that. How you doing? Oh, lazy killer, not lady killer.
Yeah, yeah.
I looked at the phone, I'm like, oh, it's lady killer. Yeah, look at that guy. Of course he's a lady killer. How you doing, lazy killer? Nice to
He looks
see how
like
you doing.
some type of killer, that's for sure.
Love it.
818. What's happening?
It's not fooling around. I like he comes in here, he just drops that. Yeah, that's my kind of guy. I'm doing well. I hope you are doing well too, my friend. We got some people, Ash and Sammy. He's all up into the new mic kind of stuff. And
Sammy is the super analyzer. They should be. It should be Sammy Superstar Super Analyzer. He
That it?
picks up every single bit of change that we do, and I love it though because what did I tell you 2 minutes before we came into the stream?
2 minutes before you came into the stream.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Sammy's gonna mention it. I said, I guarantee you. And he caught it. He catches it.
That someone was going to catch the the mic was different.
Yeah, I said Sammy. Sammy's gonna say it right away.
Sammy's just he's just on it. Like he sees any different shape of a mic. What really gets me about Sammy is it's not just mine or yours. Like he can go on any stream. He's
Yeah.
I wasn't there last week. That wasn't. It's incredible. It's incredible mind scrapping. I can't do it. It's incredible. Hi, John. All the regulars are here. Yeah. It's just like cheers. We all know your name.
How you doing, John?
It's good to see you, John. And you've been busy. Saw you jump on Melanie's show. That's great. Love that. Love her. She's doing well.
I have to work sometimes.
I know you do, man. What can I say? All that gear isn't free.
You know where I was today?
Where were you today?
I was 20 feet in the air putting up a 4-way camera. That's what I was doing. So
can you why?
Because we have to, because we just make it.
Oh, that's your job.
Yeah. So it's an outdoor 4-way camera, which I don't agree upon because it uses one Cat 5. And okay. You have when you use a Cat 5, that's eight little cables in there, right? So it's send and receive on each one. And so if you have 4 little individual cameras off of one Cat 5, if that Cat 5 goes down, then you have 4 cameras out instead of just having one on one Cat 5. I don't always agree with that, but unfortunately, where I work, it's the whole building is very old, so you're not allowed to go banging the stuff up. But yeah, so that's where I was, and it was hot out. But it was.
I was gonna say, is it hot? You've been hot by you?
It was like about 85 in Newark, New Jersey today, and the sun was coming up, and it was beating on the back of my head. Yeah, it was getting hot by 12. So
you're gonna be mad with the last couple of nights. I mean, today was really humid. I've been having to put a sweatshirt on to go outside at night. It's just been chilly. It's
and my wife says that because there's these huge forest fires and that it was very hazy around here today. So it was.
Yeah, I've noticed it with the sun at night how weirdly red it's been. I think because of that smog effect or the smoke effect. It's a little spooky, honestly. I've never seen a color like that. It's incredible. Thank you, Lazy. The fact that you were listening is not lost. I would love it. Appreciate that so much. It means the world to us, actually. And yes, the regulars are all here, Ash. So Sammy, here we go. Sammy Mike Star. Yeah. Well, okay. So first of all, I want to get back here real quick because he just said John's lighting does look different. Well, of course it is. Like every show now, is different.
Every week.
Yeah, mine's not tonight.
You know what I did though? Remember I told you like last week I got that white balance chart thing. So I set it up and use it beforehand, and it definitely does a better job of balancing everything out. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be.
Did you get is that the one with the 3, the gray, black, and the white?
No, just the gray card, and you just hold it up in vMix, and then you point right to it, and then it makes the color adjustment right off the bat.
No, I really believe in it. It looks beautiful, man.
You have to.
Now I feel like I've got to go, and next week I'm going to have to turn this up. I'm going to have to redo my deal here. I can't have this every week. I've been so under it that I'm not doing it right now. But I'm excited. I'll change it up for you. I'll do it. Brian, you guys are always getting better. How about next week you use the worst microphone you own? Well,
it's something we talked about.
We have talked about that, and maybe we should do it next week. Why not? It depends on what else. We were talking about some other things, but you know.
I was gonna say I might be using that for real when I go on vacation anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if is that next week or is that you said it's
the week of August 16th. So I'm just gonna use my cheapest USB mic, and I'm actually gonna have to test stream and see if this 10-year-old laptop can work with StreamYard. And so I was on StreamYard with it today, but I just didn't go live yet. So I'm gonna try it out.
It'll be interesting. I mean, we can I'm gonna bring myself back up. We can wait on that until you go, or we can do it I'm going
to test it beforehand because I'm going to throw the app up. So I'm not I'm not putting any strenuous effect on the laptop. I'm going to run it in either the Canon EOS O app or the Sony app. It's going to degrade it. I don't care because I want it to run lower. So at least my picture will look better.
Yeah.
And it will run at like five something. And then, I don't care. I'll just bring it in, and as long as I can make comments and talk with you and have a mic, we're good to go. We can run a show.
It's going to be a blast. You know what I should do is I should get a tent and go out in my backyard, and I should stream from my backyard. That way we can feel like little tent buddies.
I could. I've seen Nick Nimmin run his StreamYard on his cell phone. So as long as I can get decent, Wi-Fi at the hotel, I'll be okay.
Yeah, it's always iffy. You just don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see who we got here. Thank you, Brian. That's great. We should, I don't know. What is my worst mic? I mean, I don't know. It's not a bad mic. I could use the USB bullet here, the Samson. I think I would use that probably because I think we could get those sounding pretty good and it'd be fun to do. So yeah, we'll do that. We're going to we should run our worst camera and our worst mic that night. Like probably an HD cam of some kind,
I'm going to
like a bunch of them.
We can bring our worst stuff, but then we'll be like everybody else.
We're
just going to fade away.
John meant to say was
we're just going to be like everybody else. Doesn't everybody have an AC?
Yeah.
Now, you know what it is? I'll bring I was going to bring the webcam, but it doesn't make any sense. I could just bring it's actually just as easy to bring the camera because you know what it is?
Yeah, I agree.
It's just like it's even like slow when you move your hand.
Yeah.
With the regular like 920.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost distracting once you do that. And you know what? My lighting's going to change too once I get the freedom soon to paint my walls. So I'm really excited about that.
Take the lamps off the floor.
I don't know if you're busting me or if you're
I'm very straight faced, right?
I know, but with you can't tell. You could be like angry or funny and nothing changes. I have to ask.
I'm angry all the time.
You're angry and laughing all the time. Sammy, is that a MXL mic or Audio Technica? Well, you know all these mics. You tell me.
Yeah, look at him. He's narrowing it down.
He's narrowing down. Hey, Sammy, if you're still on, how's it sound, man? Let me, you've heard the pod mic and some of the other stuff, let me know what you think. I like tech. I like mics. I'm like playing around a little bit.
I'm using my C920 right here with the camera.
Oh yeah. I see you got your pod mic on tonight. We're different.
Pod mic. Yeah.
Isn't Cat 6 better? Yeah. More than likely you'd want to go with that if you could.
Jeff likes 6 cats.
I do. I like 6 cats and a gerbils and sometimes hamsters. I don't know.
Wow.
I like little. I used to have a hedgehog, and his name was Spike, which is not original.
Cool though.
It was cool, but it hurt. Those quills are for reals.
I heard they cuddle up and they do like they do. Yeah, that looks really cool. Yeah.
They're actually adorable, and they got that little snout and all that. Yeah, when I had the llama farm, we had all sorts of little critters. Some little marmoset monkeys and sheep.
It's weird when you say that.
I know, it makes you crazy every time. How you doing, Marlene? Nice to see you. How you doing tonight? Let us know how you're doing. You know what? Yes, John's lighting looks nice. His shirt looks nice, and his cologne smells okay. Are you
Yeah.
behind? Well, you know,
Can't win at
I
all.
I kind of feel like the ugly stepsister. I got a Pizza Planet shirt on. My lighting isn't changed. No one said one nice thing about anything.
I didn't shave though.
Should I feel bad? I did shave a little bit today. It's been, you know, what's funny. So, and we'll get in real quick. We'll get into that idea bucket. We're not going to go too deep in it, but, so I pretty much almost finished up my video that I've been working on for like the last 10 years. And, but I realized I've been so deep, you know, you probably had this, all of you, that first couple times you edit and you start getting a groove on. Did you find yourself just kind of like losing hours, like you just losing hours in the process and maybe days?
Losing my mind.
In your mind. And I've had so much fun doing it, developing it, figuring it out. And I woke up, I'm like, today was the longest my beard's been in so long. I'm like, what is going on? Shave. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah, so it's been a fun process to get lost into. And there's so much to talk about on that, but you know, we'll get to it. Let's see here. See what people are talking to each other here. We got
You're gonna tell Sammy what mic you're using because he's probably
okay. It's an MXL. It's a 990, right? So
990 black.
Yep, it's a beautiful mic. I have to say, there's nothing on this mic anywhere. It's flat across it. And you know, people talk about, and I can't say that I know how it sounds in your end. I did some tests like 10 minutes before and what I hear. And I would say it is true. There is so much to be said for trying mics for your voice. Because I have to say, there's some mics I've been trying that have a little bit more cachet. And I have to say, for example, this mic is hitting some spots in my voice that I like better. I'll play with it a little bit more just for fun and see where it goes. But I've enjoyed it so far.
Mikey, Sammy gets 2,000 points for the stream, and I wish that we can set up our YouTube like that because Twitch does all that stuff. They let everybody have fun, and I can't wait until we can have fun. With
we're gonna have fun.
I hope eventually they do that. You know, that stuff, because I have it set up already. I have the stuff set up. I have the bot set up, and as soon as they let us happen, it's going to run. So, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So John Pullum, let's get Jeffrey up to 60. You know, I did notice I had 59 today. Someone must have been so kind to sub the other day. Yeah, I guess I'm close to 60. I don't know. Pretty much everybody in here is a sub, and I haven't really. I love that, John.
Can't squeak out one sub tonight. I mean,
I know. Come on.
Who's watching here? That
throw me a bone. Somebody throw me a bone.
Yeah.
You know, and I haven't. You know, I never really put thought into it because I don't. John and I, and we all talk about don't focus on subs, and especially don't focus on subs when you don't have anything but live videos on. I mean, I think you should just earn them, and so I just kind of let it go. But I'm happy to have 60 subs with just doing the lives to this point. But yeah, so my welcome video will be finished this week, and I guess I gotta have to decide what day. I'll just kind of put it out there. I don't know. Maybe it's next Tuesday when I do my other stream. I don't know if I should wait that long or not. Or maybe Thursday if I can pull it off before John's stream. So thank you, John. Sammy, I have used 2007 StreamYard. Yeah, I remember you were testing that. And it's amazing what you can get on those using a browser-based system.
Right. It doesn't take much.
It doesn't really eat up a whole lot of your deal.
I bet you I could do it with a Linux box and a Raspberry Pi.
Okay. So
that's a small computer. Yeah. It's like a computer that's like a little bit bigger than, say, like something like this. And then it's got a wireless built in. It's a very low power computer, but you can run like a small operating system on it. And a lot of people make them like for various different things. You can have it do a lot of different things, like a home audio.
Okay. So I use those. I used to set up for companies, those things. They're not the size of your palm. And what we would do is we would put them to the back TVs in restaurants, and they would run their network through that. And I think that's what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of them. I have the packaging. I ran into it the other day, and I'm like,
it's probably a Raspberry Pi. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, this isn't a Raspberry Pi.
Probably similar.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Amazing units running full Windows 10 or at the time it was, we were running Windows 10 even on it. Those things are great. It's a full-on little computer.
I put a small operating system on so my son could learn how to code, but he never fell in love with it. And then plus they do coding at school a little bit now, but I wanted him to start early because I knew it was going to be something that's going to be important for his age. So,
Sammy uses like every old thing for every old thing. It's amazing. I hate to see how much computers are in his
I think that the laptop I have is I think about a 2012 or 11, maybe an 11.
That's pushing it, but I think it's going to be fine for running a StreamYard with a cam.
Slow, though. My God.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to just go buy another one. But.
Does it have an SSD? I mean, could you throw one in there? That really does speed those old systems up.
Oh yeah, but I'm
a cheap one in there.
For literally, I could buy a really good laptop, like really pretty darn good for $700. So,
first of all, let's back up here because John's really throwing me some lovely bones tonight.
I
love your lights and stubble. Thank you.
That's kind of weird.
No, it's not. It's perfectly fine.
Love your stubble because I can imagine John just going like with his hand and just grazing your face like this.
No, he'd go
and you closing your eyes.
He'd go knock knock, and I would go just don't stop. You had me.
I'll give you 20 minutes, John Pullen, to get your hands off me.
I don't like to rush things. Thank you. That's nice. I appreciate it. He's just trying to balance some things out. But you know what? I love that John changes things, and I do. It's just that I've just given up on trying to keep certain things up until I get through some things. Yes, you get your 100 points. You got that going on. And Brian Paul wants to know if I modified the 990.
No, you did nothing, right?
Nothing. It's flatline. It's 0. I didn't put any effects. I don't know if there's no switch on here to really double down on anything. So
it does sound good. I think it sounds good no matter what. I like it. It feels like you're getting like a little bit more mids than what you've been using.
Yes. So that I'm hearing here.
Yeah.
A little bit more, which makes my voice seem a little less in the mask. And for me, no matter what I did, I love the pod mic, but I'm not getting that frequency.
Yeah. No, the pod mic runs high, especially above a certain, but frequency. But it's just, I like the way it sounds, and plus it's being hidden a little bit within StreamYard. But I'm sure if you record with it or use it on vMix, you're going to be probably very happy the way it sounds.
Check this out. Quote, I guess I'm pretty close to 60. I don't know. As if he hasn't checked the numbers at all. I did know I was at 59. I did because I had to do a test on YouTube because the Go XLR just hates me. And about an hour, I'm an hour out and something's not right. So I started running tests privately. I hope they're private. They're probably all public. The way my life's going, and there's a lot of not bad things on there. If they are, no, I'm pretty sure they're private. Yeah. And I ran a couple on there, and I don't know, man.
I love that when a few people did that in Lita. Remember, they went to Facebook, and I was one of them. I went live on my own personal page, and I'm like, "Oh boy, I gotta go."
Yeah, it would be a lie. I know I've done it too. It would be a lie, Ash, to say that I don't glance over like the numbers like this quick if I have to go to my page.
Of course, he always does.
Yeah, I'm a number guru. No, I'm not. I just love when people bust me. That's fine. She's following. That's cool. The shotgun mic that you used last time, I think, was a Shure. It sounded great. It was actually another MXL. It's a 603S. So it's in the same family, honestly. It did sound. Huh?
It's in the MXL family.
It is in the MXL. And you know what? For the cost, these are great mics to be able to just to pump out, put out. And thank you, Sammy, because I actually got a lot of good feedback on the 603S. I will say only.
This sounds better.
And the 603S, really, if you are not careful, you will sibilance I have that. You can hear it. You will ultimately sibilance anything.
My voice, the way I speak does that anyway. And I got to make sure I put a de-esser on because the pod mic accentuates that also. And but the thing was, I just noted, like we both noticed that no matter what, I think the pod mic just wasn't for you.
It's just not. I tried and tried, but my frequency just is clashing like bad colors with it. And it's nothing against the mic. And I think that's where people get into this. Oh, the mic, it's terrible. I'm like, well, no, it's not. It's actually a fine mic.
The price.
I mean, your voice is naturally a little bit lower, and I think it just hits the right balance of what it's trying to do out of the box and what you naturally, mine just doesn't pick up that way. I wasn't even shocked actually when I heard it. I thought, this gives a little bit more. Robert, thank you so much. You're right. I think it is a sleeper mic, especially for that price. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for stopping in. That's always nice when you jump in. I appreciate that. All right, before we get going, okay, Brian, I have a Raspberry Pi. It's a fun toy.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if I do any streaming. If it do any streaming, I guess it just depends. I mean, it personally won't. You're going to have to actually do the streaming on it. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. It won't do the streaming for you. It's not a robot. No.
No, but it doesn't take a lot of stress when you're doing it on StreamYard. That's why, like, it's very surprising. I don't think I'll have that big of a problem if I took this 10-year-old laptop to stream. I don't think it will be. I think I'll be able to do it, but it's, as long as you're, getting up enough, then it won't be a problem. Yeah,
I think the bigger challenge for you is going to be if you're upstream with your Wi-Fi at the hotel. Maybe you'll get lucky and there'll be some hardwire there. A lot of hotels have the hardwire option by the now where you can plug in. It just depends.
I'll talk to them and see what they say. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, if it's at the Hotel 6, that's not going to happen. But you'd be lucky to get down.
Oh God,
those are not fun places. I saw this. You had a dream. He was complaining he needed a haircut. He hasn't had one in 25 years. Have you ever had a dream that you had hair? I know people who tell me they actually have had that dream. So it's interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
No, because here's the deal. Like, a lot of people, they shave their head because they're going bald.
Yes.
I shaved my head in high school.
Okay. Well,
that's fun. Yeah. And then after high school, I let it grow out and I have really blonde hair. And I'll show you guys eventually one day, but I have really blonde hair and I've grew my bangs actually past my chin and had the hair pulled back. It was the 90s, so that was the look. And
yeah, I know a lot of people who did that.
In the back. I was a bouncer, all that.
I know a lot of people who did that and then they grew their hair back and they were going bald and they're like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Well, what happened is like I grew it back out till I was around 24-ish. And then I had my sister actually box braid my head. And when you box braid blonde hair, it breaks apart in like 2 weeks, starts breaking off. And then I shaved my head again. And then I've been shaving my head ever since then.
Well, I can tell you in the heat, it's a dream, probably. You know what I mean?
I like it. I've always liked it.
Your mom remembers it. So she's probably got photos of it all around.
Hair.
John, you're nuts, man. You didn't need to. John went and got his other account and subscribed.
John, if you have in the realm of maybe 450 other accounts, you might want to just look me up.
Yeah, I mean, while you're creating, I'll take it. I don't care. No, it's very sweet, honestly. I appreciate that. That's very nice. I mean, honestly. So let me just touch quick. I kind of touched on it before I brought you in, and I don't really have a whole program thrown out tonight on the issue, but. Well, you and I have talked about the idea of idea buckets and this in different ways, and I'm not really going to get into many ways you can do it. But I guess my thought was, as I was going through this process and looking at all the ideas I had put down using finally a system, I realized how many ideas when I went back on how many ideas I think I'd lost, and I've come to the conclusion that, and I've talked to some other creators who gave me some insight. I really do think our ideas as creators are one of our most precious things. Like I said, our precious commodities. And I don't feel like sometimes we treat it like that. We're like, I'll remember it. I got that great idea and I'll remember it.
And you don't.
And it's shocking how you don't. Like
even like when I have a great idea for a title of a video.
Yes.
See, you know what I do now? If I'm at the desk or something like that, I type it in the computer and I take a picture of it.
And whatever it takes. I think
now I got the title at least saved because I'll forget it. And I'm always like think of something pretty cool and I'll forget it. And so now I have my notebook and I've been writing things down a lot more too. And that's been helping. But one day I'll put my big boy pants on and I'll start Notion because that's what I need to get something that's going to I'm doing things better, But to really get everything flowing as well as I need it to be, I need to have all cylinders firing. And it's like right now I'm an 8-cylinder firing on 4. And once I get that down, when I get everything down the way it should be, which, you know, it's not uncommon that a lot of people, you know, that doesn't happen right away. But I'm noticing that there's some things that if I fine tune my channel, it will make a huge difference in the next 6 months. And so it's either I'm going to reach these goals or I'm not in the next 6 months.
Well,
and I have to get my butt in gear a little bit.
That brings up 2 questions. And if anybody wants to drop, that's still here, that wants to drop, you know, how they manage their title ideas or their content themselves, because those are all precious things. And we have these there are 3 things that I realized. There's the great idea just in general for the video. There's great titles. There's also great thumbnail ideas. And then there's that, oh, I have a great vision for this particular part of the video. Maybe this is how I want to intro it, or I vision something, right? And by the time I go down to write it down or think about it later on, I can't remember almost all of it. And
Right.
and that was one of the reasons why I started looking back into Notion, because I started using another, like, I think Trello and all this. I'm like, it's just not working out for me. It just wasn't working. I've had enough time with Notion to go, yeah, that's a winner and a keeper. And I'm glad you haven't really started down, because I think we need to start. We need to go together and do that. Like, I'm ready now to know enough about what we're doing with it that I can look at it from a lot more angles. When you start with a new application, until you really use it, like really grind and use it for a while, you just don't have a full feeling. I found that out with DaVinci.
Right.
And I'm very comfortable with both now, but only from really looking and using real tools or applications. So I'm excited for that. I just feel like, I don't know, I guess I'd be curious how other people, but I know other people complain that they have lost a lot of great ideas in the shower. And by the time they got out, seriously. And we've talked about that, like Abdul, he actually has I've heard a couple of people, they have a secondary phone that they have waterproof by the shower. So if they have to, they will actually write. I mean, that's committed, but I also can understand it, because we all have for reasons that actually kind of make sense. We have a lot of great ideas in the shower. It's kind of a cone of silence. I do.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm in and out of the shower. I don't get how these people have the time to think about these things. I mean,
I mean, that's true. If you're not in there very long,
stuff to do.
I mean, you need to stay in there long enough to get clean at least, but
yeah,
that is true. But you know, when you go with a shower, it's a little sensory deprivation. So sometimes you get in a shower, you're like, oh, who am I? I'm nice to meet you again, because you're so dealing with family, friends, notifications. I need to do this or that or whatever.
That's very true what you said, though.
What's that?
Like the sensory factor, it's absolutely true. I mean, you get in there and that does happen to people. I always have to push my son to get out. He's like, dude, what are you doing in there? Like, I'll go, hey, you taking a shower? He's like in there like, oh.
I love, like, when it's chilly, I just love hot showers. And I noticed that I do think I have a lot of great ideas, but I also realize so, you know, now, sad as it is, this sounds so pathetic, but I don't have a phone that's waterproof in my shower, but I do take it with me. So when I get out, if I want to make a note any way I can at that moment, I will. Now, Notion is great for that. And there's not only just that, of course, we can get to some other idea dumps. Would be if you're on a browser and you see all these great ideas or something, you're like, oh, that's a great tool or a thought or an article. I'll get back to it. And if you close that, usually you just forget about it. I'm finding better ways to quickly grab and gather, as we talk about. And so those ideas are getting coalesced into proper places. And if it's not done easy, I won't do it. So, you know, I think for you that it was going to really work out once that's all smoothed out. I worried about that. And now that I'm using something, I'm finding that my ideas and my thumbnail thoughts and are building on themselves and are not getting lost in some memory void.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you start with just some kind of plan, like, you know, I had to start with just having a notebook around, you know, I have it in my bottom drawer here. And if that's just the start, like in your car or anywhere, you can just grab it and jot something down fast. And it's not the most efficient way, but it's better than me thinking that I'm going to remember it, because that's just not true.
No, and I like, Brian's to say, yeah, just tell Jay and Chad and then forget about them. I could put them all in Notion for you. I'm so like daddy that way. I would do it though. I'd be like, yeah, tell me your ideas. I'll do it. Just then I'll steal them. I was going to say, yeah, just everybody lay down your ideas. I'll store them for you. No problem. I mean, fortunately, when we got out of Lita in April, I actually didn't know I didn't really have a ton of ideas. I had some compartmental thoughts. And as time went on and you start doing things, and I think, again, there's a difference between waiting and doing. If you're waiting, nothing new is coming. When you know you're doing, when you're having every day a flood of ideas coming at you creatively, that's where I want you're okay. Because I can look at my list right now and it's super long, and I'm almost too long. I've got playlist in Notion now because I have so many ideas that are compartmentalized.
Right.
And that came from working around down here and trying to figure things out and create what. So I think that's the difference between waiting. I don't think you get creative juices if you're sitting around doing nothing.
The thing is, I dismiss a lot of ideas that I feel that maybe aren't that great of an idea, but then I think at some point you're like, well, there's that thought process of so many people have done videos on this and so many people have done videos on that. And then I just come to really do a 180 on that whole thought process. It's not that people did better videos or worse videos, whatever the case. It's more just like, are people going to watch this? And so then I was like, no matter what, I can go add it to my audio, playlist, and it's just like another video. And when I've done things like that, I've gotten, even if it's like 20 to 30 views a week, it just adds up by the end of the year. So eventually when you have X amount of subscribers and they're watching X amount, then it equals X amount. So we belittle it, making it think it's like a small deal. But a lot of times, when I have these little things that I think aren't that important, they're getting 100 hours in almost a year of watch time, which is sometimes surprising. And I think they're like, hey, whatever, that's not a big deal. But
and that I've heard this said before by smarter people, but I think we've talked about it too, that there's an old saying about there was a study that was done. We talked about this is trying to do more. You go back and forth on here, because if you're just doing more and it's total nonsense, then that's not necessarily true. So there are limits to all this stuff, but there were a group of people who they were looking for can you do a bunch of clays fast? So a clay bowls fast, or do them slow and try to make them perfect. And so you're doing a lot less. So you're trying to just be a little bit more.
Yeah. There's that whole fine line in between. Yeah. I agree.
And what they found was the people who did say 10, they did 100, but what they found were people who did more actually had better quality, more quality ones than the ones who were working slow to be really fine tuning.
Yeah, because they can never push forward to the next thing. You get caught up. And so having buckets out there in the rain, right? Even if they're not perfect, they're going to collect water.
And the truth of it is, even being that meticulous, it's not going to be necessarily good. So that doesn't guarantee that you're good just because you're trying to be fine tuning. What their point ultimately is, and I'm not very elegant because I read this a while back, but the point was you're going to hit the target whether you try or not at times. And so if you did 100 videos, their point is you're going to do a pretty good ones, and those are going to hit the market, and the rest are going to still be able to be sold. So there's still a product available. So to your point, it isn't lost. That product's still selling, even if you have to sell it for cheaper than the really ones that were so well done, right? So it's a very
underestimate some of the things.
There's
just a lot of videos. Like when I did the audio interface versus just what's the 48 volts called? Oh my God.
Phantom
Power. I did the Phantom Power just that you could buy separately, the newer
Yeah.
Phantom Power and an
Yeah.
audio interface. I was like, I'm going to do this video because I have both of them. It got sent to me with a mic, and I was like, let me do this, because when I did the difference and I just put a little filter on the audio interface, it actually sounded acceptable. And then all of a sudden, like, people were like, heck, there's people across the seas that if they can just spend $18 or $19 on an audio interface and put a filter on OBS for free,
Yep.
they start watching that video.
It's true, though.
And then I get surprised, you know, by something like that. And it's, I don't want to underestimate anything. And I think, like, just what I've seen, like Ash's video or with her Sigma, or my video right now with the chat comments, my old one from 3 months ago, it just like, it's got, I was just talking to you like a week and a half ago saying it's got 1,000 views. Now it's got almost 1,400, you know, it just keeps on going. And
that started trending really
great. The new one instead, it's better.
Yeah, I know you're trying to push them into the new and improved product, which from what I saw, it was. And
it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Lala. Hi, John, Sammy, Jay, John, Brian. She got everybody. That's she's got bad weather. She just woke up and now she's swimming in coffee. Boy,
coffee, please.
That? Absolutely, she's going to hit everybody. She's got Ash, Marlene. I love the whole list. Even Lazy Killer, I love it. Well, he's part of our community. Wow, Ash, advance happy birthday. I didn't know her birthday's coming.
Birthday is every year.
What?
Just so you know.
It's every year. Okay. Yeah. So going through all of my stuff and everything, and I'm not going to get into the video stuff that I did. I'm happy about it, but yeah. So idea buckets, and I think people just think it's always the idea of the video, like you say. I think sometimes that's just one part, such a small part, not a small part of it. It's just one part of it when you start talking like the title, the look, the B-roll. I mean, there's so many thoughts that you can have around the whole process that you could lose if you don't write them down. And I have bullet journals, so a lot of times I will keep that handy. And that's my default if I'm not around something, just to open it up to my current page and write down, you know, ideas that I can, anything, scratch a paper, coffee grounds paper or whatever. I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it's important. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who really vibes on something like that and I overthink it, but I know that other people have told me that they've lost a lot of great ideas they thought about, and that's kind of
it's true. It's definitely true. And then the thing is, being so new, I don't think it's easy to run out of ideas at this point. It would take a long time, but it would just be like get caught up in all the thought factors, like, you know, this is here, but should I make a video on it right away? Should I do that in my third video? Should I do this now? Oh, the new idea popped in my head, you know, and it's just like you run around.
It's a different, you're right. It's a different mindset at this stage about that early stage planning or charting a path, as opposed to I've been on this voyage a long time and I've seen all the islands, you know, where do I want to go next? It's a different problem.
And don't underestimate like silly things. Like I can't remember. And this is why I wanted to do it Thursday, was like just go over my desk a little bit and talk about what I have in my studio. And it's just, I was like, how many people have asked me that? Like I've had several people ask me to do this, and I always dismiss it. Like, who wants to watch that, or who wants to talk about that? Yeah. And, you know, and eventually I was just like, why not? Because I'm going to change it soon, because, you know, I told you I ordered my, you know, stand-up desk, my stand-up and sit down.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that, because
awesome.
I still would want that. I've realized recently, I think I told you today, we had a quick conversation. When I was editing and you're just there for hours, I'm like, I can't do this. I have to have a taller table upstairs in the dining, or it's like by this glass door, whatever. Thank God, because I was able to stand up. And just, I can't stand that sitting now for so long.
Just like I would like to start standing up or whatever. I would like to change it. You know, I don't like to sit down all that time. It's too much. But yeah, plus I like to move around too. So it would be nice because I could
dance around, stretch it out.
I can't wait till it comes, and I'm going to put this top right on it. So this will go right on it, and that's it.
You'll love it. Both of your videos so nice. It just gets better every week. Well, Thank you so much. Yeah, it is. It's great to have the feedback. John's really working his backgrounds lately. I love that. It's inspiring. I'm looking to do that, but I'm not going to mess with it till I paint. But I think it's it's clean. Yeah.
It just cleaned. That's it. Just picked up stuff.
He picked up the socks.
That's
it. T-shirts off the ground. Yeah, it's fair. Danielle says, I've been watching and never said hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're used to it. That's fine.
She's probably watching like one of her TV shows.
Bridgerton or something on Netflix,
Oh no, we don't have Netflix.
Yes, Bujo. The bullet journaling community knows the Bujo, and I'm really deep into it. I got into it about 7 years ago, and I'm fanatical about it. I love it.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, so that kind of got when the get things done really started hitting the road. The book came out. Then they followed up with, well, what you need is this app. This will GTD things for you. But people were overwhelmed by a lot of that process. And bullet journaling kind of was a thing, and then it made its way back because of its minimalistic, flexible program, which people like you and I need. And there were people, because it's very creative. So Mama could go in there and just make every day an amazing, and I did that for a while. I got the color pens. I'll have to show you. I'll bring my bullet journal next time and show you, Mommy. But yeah, I did the whole thing every day. I would look at the weather and I'd put colors for the leather and draw sun. Like, you can do all sorts of things to kind of get your mind out of your space. That was the whole point. Other people do some amazing drawings or doodling or mind dumps, those kind of things. So it's however you want. You can use it for amazing planning for the year or long term. It's endless and it's flexible, and that's why I like it. And if you stop using it for a week, you don't have to beat yourself up. You just start again when you do it, right? The only thing I found was it's a great supplement, but it's not for this amount of data that has to be related to each other and needs to be grabbed at times. It's obviously not a great place to go. Keep going back and forth to look for things for me. So Notion became that as far as my app, but I love the bullet journal. I think everybody, even if you don't have a big one, it's great just to have something, just to kind of every day write a number, April 15th, and then write down a couple bullets. So John, essentially what you do is they call it bullets because you write down your to-do list. It's supposed to be like your top 5, not everything. And then you put bullets next to it or a dot. And then if you get half of it done, you have a half a slash. If you get all of it done, it's 2 slashes. And if you don't get anything done, then you draw an arrow to it and you move it to the next day and you keep moving things forward. It's a really simple, cool little idea.
Right.
Yeah.
It just keeps everything in check day to day though. And you keep track of things. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do more with it. There are whole other types of planners you can use for fitness or travel, and people went nuts on it and doing, action grids and stuff like that. And I started getting into it. I'm like, this is taking too much time. But so for me, finding, something like Notion or Trello or something really kind of took over for the heavy lifting of that.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't really have a whole other dumpster dive on that. I will say that the other part of my week has been getting into DaVinci, and I want to have a discussion about editors at some point. I think that'd be kind of, I don't know if that's really your thing, but I would like to talk a little bit about it and ask people a little bit more deeper questions on it. After
we did a little bit of a talk like a couple months ago, and but we didn't go into anything deep at all. We're just basically asking what people were using and how they find it. Or is it a paid app? Is it a free one? And stuff.
Yeah, like that. I think I'm more curious about their flow and from how they manage the ingestion of all their footage and other types of media, and how they then manage that once it's taken in, and then how do they move it from there onto the editor and such. And there's some really variable ways of doing that I have found recently. That I will say this: I went through and I mentioned to you, I found this app called Akaino, and I do want to do a thing on it. But for me, it's a perfect way of bridging my footage into my editor process, in that I get kind of crazy when I can't think about where my footage is. So this is an amazing tool for managing footage. And it does everything from flat hierarchy, drill down finding things to and endless ways of search and tagging in a very simple form. But the thing that I love most about it was you could set up sub clips from your original footage. So if I had an hour of footage, I can sit anywhere on a lightweight computer with their viewer, look at my footage, and while I'm in there doing in and out, quickly do a sub clip off to the side that stays with that main clip. And then when I'm ready, I take that 10-second and send all those, or whatever clips, I send them right straight to DaVinci from there, and it imports right into my project. And I don't have that overhead of bringing all of that heavy footage in and then trying to edit it out and trim it out inside DaVinci. And that became a master of saving time and pain points for me. I don't know if it would be for everybody, but the sub clip setup and going through your information calmly in a very simple, minimal form. And it also integrates with Final Cut and those Premiere, but it does with DaVinci. And yeah, it's a sweet thing. You could set up your proxy media from there. You can do all sorts of cool setup. So when you get to editing, it's just you bring in only the stuff you really need. I mean, obviously you have to grab more stuff potentially at some point, but I love that idea of bringing that in a very efficient format. And by the time you get there, you pretty much have already designed a lot of times with your sub clips what your main timeline is going to be in Rough Cut.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. It's kind of like going into the speed editing area first beforehand. It's the same thing where people just strip right through it, but now you don't even have to bring it in. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a lot of that similarity. You're exactly right. I went through that speed. It's good, but I personally, for me, I can tell you that my flow is going to be better if I set my sub clips, because I want to go through my footage and just get rid of the garbage that I don't need. Now it stays in its original form, but I love the idea of just doing.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah. The guys that kind of turn me on to that, that's what they do. And they're like, yeah, try it out because it's going to save you a lot of heartburn. And I'm like, I actually started enjoying video file management because I hated it. And I really started enjoying the whole process where before I found it to be really clumsy and overwhelming. But that could be me and that could be my brain. But I just find that I like to have these little places where I can have things and move things along the line in quick form, Yeah,
I'm simple. I bring them, I record right to a folder every time from right here, right to the folder in my OneDrive. And then when I go in,
now you're talking about through OBS, or are you just talking about a folder in general?
Yeah, OBS or vMix. So I'll just record right into my video folder, like all my clips. Sure. And then I'll go and pull those clips right into editing, and I'll edit them out. And then I have the end product go to my C drive on my desktop, and that's where my finalized video goes. And then I just go right from there, and send it to YouTube.
I imagine I will do that. I think where I was running into the issues with that is I think I'm going to have a lot of multicam setup. So that means I'm going to run a card, and I think I can see clearly that I'm probably going to run a lot to SD cards on my 6400. So I'm like, I really want to think about that. Now it's going to be really dreamy when I sit here and just do something on maybe like a Go XLR and I can just go straight into OBS. You're right. But I think I still would like to see, I don't like to sit and just get out. DaVinci is a weighty, cumbersome. I think it's a cumbersome in a way thing to doing subclips. Now, to your point, the cut mode, I think, is going to change that. I think that's where things start to get a little murky. I think in your case, you're right. You just grab that OBS file, you bring that in, you could scrub it really nice and drag it into your timeline there. So in that case, I don't think I gain a whole lot. However, where I think I do gain for me is I do run multiple computers. I also like to not be sitting at this computer. If I have to, I like to be able to be mobile when I do creative stuff. So if I want to hit my computer and go out, I have a brand new SanDisk Killer external drive. Yeah, it's like that 1054 transfer rate or something. It's crazy. And I could take that and be mobile and just sit calmly with coffee anywhere I want and go through my clips and setup. So when I do set down to DaVinci, again, my approach is I want to sit there fresh. And so then I'll just send everything over and then I'll start getting worse. So that's the beauty. It's like everything's different. But then when you get into multi-clips, that's going to change too, because if you have multi-cams, then you might want to try to use the multi-cam feature in DaVinci.
Yeah.
There's no one way, but I like having my library in the external, honestly. And what I like is as I go through all these videos, I'm tagging each one of them, and it's going to benefit me for saving and looking as I go, going, oh, that could be some B-roll stuff, and really going through. So if I want to go back after a year, I'll have really instant access to a lot of information, that I have without having to go trying to.
Yeah. It's a good thought process now. You might not use any of that video after you get good at doing everything else better.
I might not.
But the thing is, it's instilled in you right from the get-go, then it's going to make that whole process as you go forward much better.
Yeah, there's not a lot of video right now that's getting 5-starred.
No. I mean, there was.
I will say this, and credit to Brian Paul, who has spent more time than he should guiding me on the issue. But I did shoot some footage last night that ended up being into the video injected that is really pretty hot. Like the shots, all that it looks like stock footage. It's not, and I'm very proud of that. But I also say it was a lot of work and effort to do, but it was a massive learning curve, and it set me on my way to some really amazing thoughts. But that footage is 5-starred, and that stuff is going to be definitely stuff I'm going to hold close to me that I think I could use again down the road.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, you're right. It's just more or less about how do I want to condition myself. I may abandon all of this in about 6 months. I don't know. But from my mindset, I don't think so. I think this is
no. I mean, why would you do this if you were going to abandon it? I mean, the whole point is that you're going to have an effective flow that's going to make you, scoot through everything up that much more efficient.
Yeah, I think the only wild card in this is going, how do I generally do? I think with the Kino, I will always store my stuff in that because it's agnostic, and I can use that with any editor. The way it's set up, I can reuse my footage and my subclips and just send it out encoded to go to a Mac or Final Cut or whatever. And I like that everything's kind of in that centralized bank, and it's not running off a database. They are sidecarring the hidden files in each directory, so I can share and collaborate much easier with this type of thing, as opposed to most things like I think Prelude is an Adobe one. It's not very as good, I don't think. But again, it's database, so you can't really do a whole lot of sharing on NASAs and things like that you want to do for collaboration. It's kind of tough. But we'll see. I
got a lot to learn about this stuff.
Well, I got a lot to learn about, stuff that
Yeah, it's the way it rocks.
But that's cool though. It kind of works out for us. So we kind of balance it out. But it's exciting. I know it's a kind of, for some people it's dry and it's kind of funny. I don't
hear that. You hear that?
What? Yeah. What is that? What's going on there?
That's my new sound on my sound deck for static.
Is it really?
My stream deck.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so I do that when people come on, so it makes them think that there's something wrong with their mic.
Oh, you're messing with me.
Yo, is that me or you? Jeff, is that your mic?
I thought for sure there was a breakdown going on here. I was like, oh my God.
How awesome is that? Isn't that awesome?
No, if you pulled that on me, I think I would have a panic attack. Don't do that to me. I have enough problems with this Golex LR. And
I was like, dude, I got to use this because that is so funny.
Great. That is so super. So, yeah, I want to talk about that too, by the way. But, you said you ordered the Elgato XLR.
Yeah.
As did I.
Right. And we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk about that Thursday, hopefully when I have it in my hand.
Yeah, I got to look and see if I have a shipping date. I don't think I ordered it long after you did. So
it won't take, no, I think you ordered it a day after, but the fact is, I think it's going to be sold out still, no matter what.
Yeah, that's why I ordered it right away, because I agree with you. I think that thing's going to go pretty quick.
But there's people, that listen, it's not perfect by any means.
It's not.
I just thought it was kind of cool, like really cool. And we'll see where it goes.
I don't know. I had the PC panel. Was it PC Panel Pro?
Yeah.
and I canceled the order, and now I'm kind of like,
I should have got that right. I know.
Now I'll tell you why too. If I kept the Go XLR, I'll tell you why. Because as I was playing around, what I realized, one of the biggest beefs I have is it's great that I can adjust the music level here, but
But it's not that big of a deal to have that software up on your screen as a streamer.
No, I know, but hear me out. I'm just trying to break down the Go XLR too.
Right.
That's great. Okay, but that's an overall music feed. So yeah, I can set that in. That's my ears, but that's also everybody else. So it's great that I have that slider. But what I was thinking about, it's nice to have, we talked about this, if I dump the audio tracks right into the scene. So we audio set the scene, right? A song.
Okay.
I like that. What you can do though, then, is my biggest beef on that was tabbing out to those, because they're hard to find when you're in the middle of stuff, especially the music. It always seems like the music, you gotta either do something. So I was thinking how nice it would be to have those on a slider that is doing that. And it's like a sub of this. So I could set the level that's even going to my ears. That's my biggest complaint, is my ears get beaten up. I can hear myself great, but if I want my music out here to be heard in YouTube, I've got to crank that music really hard. And unless I tab down to the software and drag it back down and up, it
might not be we'll have to see how it is in that software. And first,
I'm going to say, I think it's going to be similar. I think it's going to be similar. But what I was thinking about with that PC panel stuff.
Yeah, but you can balance the mix that goes out and into you. Like when you hit the third time on the thing we bought, the Wave XLR.
Mm-hmm.
The third push, I think, is the balance in our headphones that's going in our headphones.
That's the key, because I can do a balance in mine, but I can only do it through the software. So I mean, I can pull myself. I can pull certain things down, like chat and system.
Yeah,
all those I can balance. But the music is an overall deal. And then to do it in my head, to get my full level and my mic level, I have to use the software, which is great that you can do it. But there are times where it's like, I just need a quick, if I'm pulling.
I hear you. I mean, in a perfect world is to have just what we bought with 2 XLR, outputs for speakers, and then and then have like 3 sliders on it also. That would be like the perfect world.
I think so. And so I might end up having to reorder that somewhere. But I figured it was better just to cancel it. Let's play with it. Let's figure out what we have. I will say this.
That's what I thought.
The Elgato products are solid, and I think they're going to work really well together. And to your point about the VST3s, I think that's going to be something that's really cool. I don't want to talk about it right now, because
that wasn't a deal breaker for me.
No, it's not.
No matter whatever I'm doing, the only thing it's going to make me hold off a little bit, because everything I can go right into vMix and just pull T3s in there and just do everything through there. So that is not a big deal either way. And so I'd rather see if that's going to happen down the road before I paid for anything, maybe. But
yeah, that was kind of my thinking too. I mean, OBS leaves me wanting, because they don't do VST3s. They stop at 2s right now. Now they might integrate the 3, but they don't. So that's a bummer.
They probably won't. Ever.
I don't think so. The fact that vMix does VST3, I think, is a game changer. And so I think it is. I think it is worth waiting to see. I don't think it's worth right now jumping into.
Right. I don't think it's worth changing anything either, because at least I have what I need in vMix anyway, because I can do the simple things in there. I could put a gate. I could go and put an equalizer in. So it's not like
someone's going to say, John, we can do that in OBS, or we can do that in the XLR software. But I'm going to tell you, OBS's plugins are a little, I don't know. They're okay.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are fantastic and some of them are very okay.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what's great. That is the one, like the best thing about the Rodecaster is all the processing that's in it. That is like probably one of the best things about it.
some of those OBSs are good, but I got to tell you, they don't touch some of like the Wave NS1s and some of the the really great VST3s that are out there. They can't be touched. And it's not always about that they don't have the quality. That's true. But a lot of those are just made so, I'm going to say it, idiot proof. Like the NS1, man, there's probably not a better white noise killer out there, but it's a slider. The algorithms are so amazing in that. And you just dial it in, and it's pros are like, oh yeah, you're going to love that. Now you pay for it, so that's fine. But I think vMix has probably as good of quality plugins already baked into it, or darn close to it, that I don't think it's going to be worth buying stuff to put into it.
There's going to be a lot of stuff that's for free. That's pretty amazing too. It's just how much time do you want to spend? How important it is, all that to you. I mean, does it make a big difference? I mean, once you get a couple mics that you're going to use all the time, and you EQ them, for yourself, you're pretty much done after that. And so, unless you're Sammy,
Sammy doesn't have a database of profiles, which hey, you could do. I mean, that's the whole thing. And I want to get to a point where I am setting up all these presets on mics.
That's it.
And the same thing is in DaVinci as well. Setting up all these presets, and I have spent a lot of time doing that as I went through, because I'm like, I'm already in it in DaVinci. Oh, I don't want to, but let's just go ahead and deal with all these templates and presets while I'm here figuring it out. I respect the people who are like, I'll get to it. I'm just going to punch out a video. Hey, I respect, but that's not how I work. So I'm glad to go through that pain and get on the other side. I jumped into your chat yesterday, and you did a live chat yesterday. Went up, I think, 4.5 hours. And I laughed because you were on a roll, and I say this lovingly, so take it for the spirit that it's intended. Okay. So Brian was on another chat with me because he was helping me fix something in DaVinci, right? So, but we're both in chat watching, and it was fun because you were having fun, and I'm excited about this vMix journey. I'm so happy to be in this boat with you and going down it. And that's my next thing now, is to get headfirst into my end of the vMix. But you were having such a good time, and then chat blew up a little bit for you. And it's just fun when that happens, right? People are coming in, people were having such a good time.
I saw a lot of stuff where they were all talking within the chat, which is cool. So I thought I was like missing a bunch of stuff. And I was like, oh no, but I just noticed that everybody was like talking amongst each other.
Just having a good time. And it was like, it wasn't goofy. It was really just like, this is fun, blah, blah, blah stuff. But I was talking to Brian, and I'm like, God, he's just going. And I'm like, I don't think John has taken a breath in 20 minutes. Because there was a point where you were just going and going, because you were just smiling away and going. And we were respecting the fact that you were able to hold that long of a live on your own and go, because a lot of people aren't able to. That's just a fact, right?
I mean, I do fill the gaps a lot, and I stay busy with, talking about what I'm doing. And I never really have that big of a problem with the lack of words or what I'm going to say next or what I'm doing, because I'm just comfortable like that. So if I have a plan, obviously that helps. And I thought it was just really cool. So and plus there's like a lot of little cool things that I just want to touch base with people. It's good practice for me because here, like, Robert was kind enough to say that, made a comment on that video, was just saying, there's so many different things going on. I have like one screen showing my YouTube, the other screen showing the vMix, and then I'm going and doing the chat live. And every time you do something live, it's almost like a guarantee that's not going to work. So it's always that pressure of like, okay, so is this going to work for me? Because it works every other time. Is it going to work for me when I do it live? Because it's always just works like that live a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
you think it will? And just like when I fired up my laptop tonight and GoXR said no, and I told you before the show that I'm going to take it outside and run it over my car, forward and backward and forward and backward. I say that lovingly. Don't get mad at me, GoXLR. But you have a lot of moving parts. I mentioned it yesterday when live. there are a lot of moving parts, and I know this, and I was impressed by
Thank you.
that. It
I
was
appreciate that.
No, it was an absolute impressive thing. I know people can hear because people do, but you have there's a lot more, even more going on behind right now what you deal with that vMix. If you haven't gotten into vMix and tried to deal with the 1,000 plates in the air with vMix, especially when you're new, it's a thing.
I think that's the key. Like, if you told somebody that I've been doing it for, I don't even know how long. I don't know, 5-6 weeks, right?
Not long enough to be that good.
Probably not. So I think that if you told somebody that, then I think they would be kind of shocked. If you told them that you were working with it maybe for, 6 months, then maybe not,
I will say that what really helps is, first of all, neither one of us have a problem with the gab, which is sometimes why we run into each other a lot. Although I think we do pretty good now not doing that. But we do, neither one of us are shy about talking really with put to the test.
Right.
That helps. And I'm like you, I could carry an hour. I'll find something to talk about. Let's talk about the weather, whatever we need to, we're going to get it done. But yeah, that's impressive. And if anybody has looked under the hood of vMix, it makes OBS look like a first grader, a little bit. And that's not to diminish OBS at all, but it's just a lot.
It's a different animal for sure. It's more production.
You're being kind. The threshold on that's quite a bit different than when you stepped in. The only reason you can say that is because you've gone through the OBS dive and pretty deep. And because you did that, it set you up and me well for vMix.
That's probably true. Yes.
And without that, the spaghetti is all over the place.
Right. And that's why I can relate, like, with doing that video for OBS, and then I wanted to do a similar video for vMix because, it's more specific towards that. And when I noticed I've done some lives, like when I did the OBS tips, I've actually got I'm getting a lot of views on that. And then I go and did the small rig that we did a couple of weeks ago. I'm still getting views on that.
Yeah, and I think that's just going to keep trending. I really think both of those just are sitting in the wheelhouse of what so many people really want to know more about. I'm really glad that you did those.
Yeah, and then even just talking about that video I just did the other day with the when I went wireless in the house, and I did the with the ATEM Mini showing it all. I've gotten a good amount of views on that, and they're live. So lives don't tend to get a lot of views.
No.
So if I'm getting something back afterwards, I'm really happy about that. And what I've noticed, and this is what everyone should notice, is that when you get more specific with your lives, and if you notice, Ash, she'll have when she does a video and she has a set plan about what she's going to do it on, it's definitely more effective, and you definitely know what you're getting beforehand in that live.
Yeah, let me just jump into that. That's true. And I told John, I'm not coasting, but I'm so busy trying to finally get through my video stuff that I haven't put the effort into my personal lives that I started out doing. I had a lot more, and I've noticed it. So I've noticed that when you're less specific, that it tends to have less energy at times. Sometimes just open Q&As work, but I think when you announce them like that, it does. But I think when you have a really cool specific topic that's really kind of flushed out and presented and actually promoted, I think, I've totally seen it with my own lives. How I think that's been a good experience for me to see.
I think I wish I could find a way to draw more people for, the question and ask, because I think there's so many questions, and I almost feel like we could do a mic night probably once a month. And we would have tons of people coming in. And would they be asking the same questions? Yeah. Pretty much.
Fine. It's okay.
Right. But it's good info for people, and it's also good exposure for us. So these are things that we kind of poo-poo, because who wants to talk about the same things, once a month? But honestly, so many people to talk about it.
No, I think people like that, and they like some of that consistency. We've talked about that. I think you do a mic night, you do some kind of camera a night, or maybe a night on lenses, or something to do with the lighting at something. It was something around the filming end of it, but it could be specific to cameras if you wanted to.
Right.
But mics always pull it off. I think you have to really consider that. I think that's a great idea. I'd be into that anyway. love mics. Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. So, I mean, that's a great idea, honestly.
And then also, we're talking about that Wave XLR, and Lewitt is very big behind everything that they're making. So
yeah, Lewitt's out of Australia as well.
Yeah. So I mean, this is good quality stuff.
It is. And I mentioned to you the guy I work with, James Payne, who's on tour right now, actually in Europe, that Lewitt's sponsoring him. And he said it's impressive stuff. So all of his drum mics, he said this stuff's made really well. Like, he never used it before. It was like all Shure stuff and everything. So it was really interesting to see that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm getting good information on that. And I like to hear that it's good quality.
I almost bought a Lewitt mic myself, but it's just, it is good stuff. And plus now that Elgato is tied in with them and they're making this stuff. That's why, like, a lot of people have said, like, if I heard that the preamps as far, as the mic in there wasn't good, then would be no reason for me to buy this. It's got to be. It's got to be on par to what we're dealing with now, because I don't need the noise and I don't need the aggravation.
No, it's just nice.
Yeah. But when you go to like people like Alpha Gaming and you go to EpoVox and they're telling you like, dude, this stuff, the amps in here is definitely good quality. It sounds great. And, the noise level the floor is low and it's like good quality, then, I'm pretty happy to just jump in there and try something out. And I'm really just excited because everybody raves about the software. And so,
but except for Mommy Law, who had issues with her Wave 3.
Right.
Again, but you know what? I thought of Mac. So I thought of Mommy tonight as I battled before the show my Go XLR, and it is when you're in that mode, it's very stressful. It's very stressful to have software go on you consistently and not feel like you can trust it. And that's why when she was presenting that, we both felt her pain because we both have been there, and I'd been battling the similar process here with the Go XLR. So I just kind of felt, it's like, I kind of thought of her. I'm like, no, I know what she was going through for sure. I also want to say hi to Tracy. I have had her up here for about 5 minutes or more.
Yeah.
And good evening. Good morning.
Stopped in too.
Who?
Someone else just stopped in too.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Samantha.
Yeah. She's not been feeling good. So
I know she's not been feeling well. And so we're sending our best from here, from the States. Yes. And, from Wisconsin anyway. And from Jersey.
That's a state too. Just want to let you know.
It's not.
It's a state.
No. So that's, I see. I need that stuff where I can mute you from here. But yes, wow. I'm kidding. I hope you feel better. I really do. Well, first of all, what Brian was saying was in response to my comment to you about, I thought it was a really nice demonstration, and it was impressive.
Thanks,
Brian understands. He understands as many of us do the plates in the air on that. It was impressive. And so Mommy says, I agree, Brian, it was 2 a.m. here, but we were there for almost 30 minutes despite being so sleepy. I did see them. And it was exciting.
I know you guys everybody said hi and they had to go. It was like 2:20, and I'm like just thankful that anybody would come in and
a nice crowd. It was a good crew, I thought.
Yeah. And I really love this stuff. So it's whenever I'm trying and testing out things, because I really want to make like a plan of. And I don't know if you saw this, but I was so happy to get the OBS sync down with, with the wireless mic. And now I got my sync down in the sound. I don't have perfect yet in vMix, but I got the sync down in vMix. And so now
how far off do you think you are?
Well, with the wireless, I was 500 to 520 milliseconds. So half a second or so.
Was that similar what you found with OBS, or was it dramatically different?
No, it was similar because all that latency is happening right on this side. You know what I mean?
So it's coming from the same origin.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as anything else, that's where it all occurs, with just going in and out of the softwares. And the setup of the Hollyland is just incredible. I think it's just an incredible piece of equipment, especially for that price. And I just want to incorporate it because I think it's just going to be, once I get smooth with it, and I have my camera settings down with it. I just can't wait to pick it up and just be like, okay, I'm going to go get my coffee on a Saturday morning stream, stroll upstairs, pour the coffee out, have my Rode wireless mic on, be talking to you guys. Oh, this smells so good. Take a drink, go sit at the table, look at my comments, and then just like stroll down like 5 minutes later. It's just going to be cool.
And then I'll be like, but I want to go get coffee, and now I don't have my wireless set up, and I've got to sit here and look at you drinking your coffee.
Yeah. Or maybe like go, maybe go eat a hot dog in the backyard with the barbecue.
I don't need to see that.
I'm just going to.
No, don't need to see that. No. Just put up a test pattern or something like that.
It'd be so fun.
New Jersey is, I don't get this. What is he saying here? What does that mean? Is that a New Jersey thing to say NJ is
New Jersey, bro? It's all New Jersey. It's New Jersey.
Yeah. Okay.
It's New Jersey, man. New Jersey's New Jersey.
Oh, God. Here he goes. Here he goes, everybody. Take a seat, everybody. He's winding up. He's winding up the sound effects.
New Jersey's New Jersey. Don't you know what New Jersey means?
No.
It's Jersey, bro.
It means nothing.
Sammy gets it. Sammy. Thank you.
Anybody got the score on the Bucks game tonight? It's a finals.
Can't bucket.
Brian says, I shouldn't admit this, but I did watch John's video on OBS. I don't know why he's afraid to admit this. That's interesting. We'll get back to that. But I watched John's video on OBS YouTube comments and tested it flawless. Thanks, streaming buddy.
Yeah, I made it is a good video. I made one little mistake because they're always updating things for that, and so when I went in there, and you don't have to open up that blank transparent background and leave it open anymore. Now all you do is click that overlay button and copy and paste. You're done. So it's even one step further. It's just that they're always improving it, and this is it's just I think it's so great. I'm going to keep on. I'm going to use it. In
in a way that really kind of works in your favor, because you can just keep augmenting the playlist in a sense, like, hey, look at the new thing, and do a quick 5-minute update.
Right.
Just doing it. So, but it's kind of a win-win. So I wouldn't call it a negative, but I know what you mean. It's like I get the video out, and then in a second later, it's like they kind of tweak that up. But you know what?
Yeah, but I put that in the script. I put it in a pinned comment and just let people know.
But a lot of people are really slow to update. So
yeah.
It's amazing how people are like, I don't want to.
But you know what? I can't even tell you how I was craving that information a year ago. I could not find it anywhere.
No, I was nowhere around.
I was like, if I can get the comments to come up on the screen in OBS, I'll be so thankful. And I was just so excited because I know it's going to change a lot of people's stream. And you know what was really cool? I'll tell you what was really cool. You remember Gary's trading journey?
Yeah.
Gary today was using it, and he thanked me. He's like, dude, I just want to thank you because I watched your video, and now I'm looking up the comments.
Brian thanked you. Brian's going to use it. Brian's going to do a stream from the orangutan enclosure at the zoo. And he's going to send us confetti.
I'm just putting the video out so people have more. It's more in, it's out there more. It was thanks to people, a coder that did it. And it was Alan Parecki also that put it into an extension. So the two guys together did all the work. I'm just want to promote it because I think it's just as a usable thing for streamers. If
nobody gets the info out there, the work is kind of lost. So. It's needed. It's kind of true with anything. It's like, well, Elgato's got a huge marketing team, but they're sitting there going, "Hey, Heller, can you do a little segment on our XLR here?"
Yeah,
so,
I've been stopping in at Gary's trading journey, and he's really cool. Like, he's a cool guy, and I love trading in finance anyway. But it's just that when I stop in there, and he's like, "Oh, check John
is he
out."
From Singapore? Wasn't he?
He's from Singapore, and he does what a lot of people do. And I tell him in his chat, I'm waiting for him to tell me to shut up or something. But he starts like out here a little bit, and he's talking, and then he's talking about the stocks, and he's talking, and he's like, "I'm gonna get," and I'm like, Gary, back off of the mic, because when he stays within his 8 inches, he sounds so good. And people don't realize that if you get so close in your stream where you're like freaking people's ears out, they quickly leave. So it's not like even just that you sound bad. It's just that you sound good. It makes people stay.
It's true. And I'm still finding myself, the pod mic kind of messed me up because I just never liked it. And I found myself constantly, my ears are not hearing what you guys are hearing. And I found myself doing something to make it up in my ears, which is always a mistake because you're not hearing what everybody else is hearing. I know better than that, but I still did it because it's human nature, I think.
Yeah.
And I started kind of leaning in, which is horrible for that mic. And so I'm finding myself. Yeah, we talked about it. And I knew listening back, I'm like, oh, I cringed. And so I'm finding myself even tonight just kind of fighting that urge, going, stop. You just sit back.
It is. That's the thing, right? It's a mic technique. And
it usually is, right?
Even like how this mic is positioned, so it's not straight into my mouth. So this, because, you know, we both know that the pop filter that's built in here is not good at all.
It's not good.
So it tees off. And that's what's great about having the booster is that I can separate myself from this mic to a good extent.
Is what I found.
But you got to stay within around 8 inches or so if you want to get the best sound out of the mic.
Yeah. Would you agree that the window is pretty tight though for the pod mic as far as technique?
Yeah, because once you crowd it, it's gonna degrade the sound.
Or even like I feel like there's
that's what you're gonna get with a dynamic mic anyway.
Yeah,
right?
I know that's true. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. So, but yeah, I just felt like that window of creep on that technique for the pod mic was a little like over the top. No, I say over the top. I'm just saying that. You just got to be wary of it.
Yeah, you got to. And that's the thing. I think like for me, I didn't have any of those bad habits right over the back. And even when I started with the BM 800, I think even the things that you got to do is a lot of times people set their levels and then they creep up a little bit and they're peaking. It's better off to just be a tiny bit lower than you are a tiny bit higher. And that's another thing that I kind of like with that Wave XLR is it's got that built-in clipping, and that's another plus.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. There's a lot of pros to it. You and I are going to have fun playing.
I always ran a limiter. I always ran a limiter in OBS anyways, but I mean, it's nice.
But any overhead you can take out of OBS. Plus, you're not going to be limited OBS. So I think if you can put it into a container and use that with any environment, which gets back to what I was trying to do with my Kino like media. So I want something that's portable to everything and can be containered. I think that's the same with this as we go. You want as much power as you can, but you kind of want it in these buckets. It can be used. So it can be used all over the map. It doesn't have to be just, I got to do it a certain way with OBS, or a certain way here. If you can now I get it. If you use with OBS, it doesn't necessarily mean your setting's going to be fine with vMix because vMix may be processing it different. So,
absolutely.
Especially at 1080.
What do we got going on over here?
Well, yes, she was following up with Gary.
I agree with John. He mixes his finance shows with tons of humor, and he's good. Gary's good. He's going to do well, and I'm glad to have found him actually. So that's really cool.
Yeah, no, he seemed like a really nice guy. I haven't dipped in. I need to because for other things I could use a little more financial direction. Was all of a sudden lately. Gosh, John and Jay, my first 10 streams I didn't have a mic. She was doing Hand Puppet Show. I was just using the built-in mic of my MVP. And I cringe when I rewatch because my voice is so loud. That's what you got the Elgato Wave 3 to begin with. And that was an epic failure of that relationship. It wasn't your failure. It was a failure of the relationship between Elgato and the Mac, it looked like. Yes, I can understand that. But to John's point earlier, we all cringe when we look back. I'm putting a lot of effort.
We always cringe about something.
Yeah, I don't know. Just watching myself, I cringe. And I just want to say before he steps out to go eat or whatever he's
he's going to eat soon. So.
It's so great that you stopped to say hello.
Zan the man.
I mean, if nothing else, we get to see the smile. We get the energy. We get to hear from our good friend, Zan.
How you doing, Zan? Are things moving along? I know you're working on a video, and make sure you let us know if you're heading towards the New York City area, when you do your tour a little bit. Also, what is Sammy talking about up there? What does he mean by that?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Sammy says, always wanted to know, would you rather get coffee or a new mic that sounds amazing that is on a deal? It's a dangerous question.
Because he knows I love coffee. That's what he's saying.
I do too. So I fit this one. I'm drinking coffee right now.
Or a new mic that sounds amazing. That is probably the mic. If it sounds amazing, like if you're like, oh, I got to have this mic because I think it fits, and it really sounds amazing.
I think the problem with this is the question lends itself to like, well, I can get coffee another time, but the mic's going to be around. So maybe it would be like a new mic that sounds amazing or a lifetime of coffee to your favorite coffee brand or something like that. Then it could get
what it is a lot of times when we're streaming, I don't think anybody realizes that, it's not the perfect time for us to have coffee, but dude, I can't even tell you how much I love my coffee every day. I mean, when I take the sip in the morning at like, let's say 6 o'clock, right? It's like, oh my God, this is so godsend. And then I leave, go to work. My coffee sets up everything. I don't really I would prefer it to be just silent, and go to work and my mind just clears out. And then when it like 2 or 3 o'clock, now here's the problem that I have. When I don't get a lot of sleep, I usually have a coffee at like around 12 or 1.
Yeah.
Then I have another one around 4 or 5. So now I'm like the 3 coffees, and that's not like really good, but I do love it so much. And it's a problem that I have, but I guess we can have worse problems.
Dude, I'm doing the same thing though. Like, I'm drinking coffee right now. I love coffee.
I can't do it.
I was drinking all day. So
I was talking to my wife just the other night, and she's like, "You got to get back on track with your sleeping." And she's like,
"No, it's true though."
Because I'm having coffee at 7 and 8. I cannot do that. I will not go to sleep till 3 or 4 in the morning.
I know. I'll be up late tonight.
Yeah,
I can't do editing. I want to finish it. That's okay.
But
I can sleep a little later in the morning than you can. That's for sure. And then she finished with, but we all know what happened with the Wave 3. So now with Rode NT and saving up for a sure. Now, are you saving up for the MV7 or a 7B? What are you?
I would think the MV7.
Yeah, I would think the MV7 would really fit really well for
because he probably wants to have something that's versatile, and I can picture in my head that at least like it's got an XLR cable and it's got a USB, so it's very usable for her. So it sounds good. It sounds great.
It does. I put money on it that it would be the MV7, and I think that's a great point.
Yeah. So there you go, Sammy. Mic for you too.
But do you drink coffee, Sammy? I mean, is that really a fair?
I want to know, Sammy. Do you drink coffee? I'm gonna
don't
say
tell me this. I have a frappuccino on the weekend stuff.
Oh, he might have a frap, because in his town, having a frap on the weekend is what people do.
I know, but that's more sugar than coffee. I mean, I used to drink them, but then I looked at the calorie count and went, okay, I'm done with that. Says here, I might do a video shoot. What are your thoughts on renting a camera for the shoot? That's very popular right now. I mean, there's whole places you can rent lenses and cameras, and it seems like a very viable thing to do.
Especially if it's a hot item. Yeah. Why not? I mean, how much are they charging you? That's what I wonder,
Well,
you get a premium for it. That's for sure.
I mean, if you just need it and you don't want to spend $2,500, for example, on a camera, and you want to rent it and you can get it for $40 for a weekend, then that's a deal. If you've never really, and that's fine. I think
if you're going to spend like $2-3 grand or $3 or $4 grand on a camera, definitely not a bad idea to rent it beforehand, or even rent a lens. A lot of people will rent a lens before they buy it because they think that they need it, and they think that this aperture is like so great. But then when they realize the lens can't hold up at that aperture, in the corners, and so they're like, oh, okay, well, if I can't shoot at 1.4 and I got to shoot at 2.8, then why even spend the money for that? I'll just get a good quality 2.8, low aperture. So
Brian can speak to it more than I can, but I mean, even with lenses, I mean, that's a great way to try out lenses from what I'm reading, and cameras especially. I would like to try out a few lenses, honestly. And then as you're trying them out, why not make a video while you have them in tow? You want to think it out because you're going to have them for a few days. But I think it's a great way to do it because there's there's a limitation with money. I mean, we can't just go out and be spending $2,000 here in a camera, $2,000 here in a camera. It's not going to work out, right? But I think it's great. I think you should do it.
There's a Sigma 16 mil for a Sony mount, one town away from me for $300, brand new. The guy never took it out of the package.
Okay, well, jump on it.
Thinking about it.
He says he drinks coffee. I'd be curious what kind of coffee he drinks. Okay, so he's in the game. I'm sure she meant MB7, yes. But yes, that seems like a really smart mic for you.
Yeah, I always look
so many ways. Yeah.
The B and the V are next to each other, so I know she meant V. So.
Well,
I was on a stream today, and I stopped in and I said hi, and another person called you AJ Smith. That's your new name. Just change your station, your whole channel to AJ.
I don't care. I'll change it to AJ. It doesn't bother me. Somebody, who was it?
I'm not telling you.
No. Somebody else called me. Well, he called me Robert, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, he was all embarrassed. I'm like, I don't really care.
No, that was the Bald Gamer.
Yes, Bald Gamer. I'm like, you can call me what you want. Don't feel bad about it. But if you call me AJ, whatever.
Hey, you puts you up higher on the subscription list on the left side.
Wouldn't that be funny if I do it again and I just change it up again? I'm like, you know what, guys? Now I'm AJ. Could you imagine the confusion that's going to come raining down? People are just going to be mad, except for the people who call me AJ already. I'm sure there's a million coffee. I have tons of coffee. I love the
shops, the small shops,
the mom pot coffee shops we have. We're so lucky to have so many, and they're the best. And you want to support them, and it's just so.
My sister too in Hoboken, New Jersey, has 3 coffee cafes, so I'm a big fan of that. And so it's spelled BWE Cafe in Hoboken, New Jersey, but it's pronounced, I'm pretty sure it's like Booyah Coffee.
Okay.
And
he says he's filming it. I'm sorry, I stepped on you. I'm filming my intro for my show, and I think I know what I want. So I'm actually thinking of going into the city. I think that'd be cool. Go into the city and film some of that intro. And
I wonder if Sammy's thinking about the same thing I am, because I actually have the same thought process going on.
Is that right? For like an intro to your deal?
Yeah. And if I know Sammy, we're probably thinking about the same thing. I wish we can code some way if you're thinking about the same thing I am. Tell me this, Sammy. Does the word stairs come into any thought of what you're thinking about? That's what I'm just gonna say the word stairs and then see if
I know you've mentioned stairs a couple of times when we were talking about the mobility of the GoPro.
Well,
and I remember you kind of mentioned, so it must have been on your brain already. So now I'm curious to where that is, what place.
Yeah, but where this is that I'm going to have to use a better camera than that, because it's an incredible. Yeah, it's going to be really incredible. So
Brian did rein in here and said that renting lenses and cameras are fun and not super expensive most of the time. So I'm guessing he would say the same thing, that everything can get so expensive that if you really want that stuff, it's not like you're renting something for $400 you could buy for $1,200. That, like, for example, that starts to get kind of nuts.
Right.
From what I saw, I think it's very doable, and it got me thinking down the road what I might want to do.
And then plus, like, if you're like looking to get the Sigma 16, there's just so many people that rave about it. Like, you're not going to have to rent that. And just
now, Sammy already has this. I know he has that 16 Sigma.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like, if you know how wide it is, because it's pretty much just as wide as a full frame 24, it's like what it is. But
so what, 7 years, when did you start? Like when you were like 12?
10.
10?
Yeah. He started when he was drinking coffee when he was 10. Well, there's actually nothing wrong with that. People look at that and they're like, they'll make a judgment on that, but it's not the most horrible thing in the world.
No, look, my dad and all of his family were farmers, so they would get up at 10 and drink coffee. There's a difference between coffee and going, I've been drinking Frappuccinos 3 times a day since I was 10.
Right.
Now, I don't think he's doing that. But that's a whole different.
There's just so many 10-year-olds that are taking in about 150 grams of sugar in that. Like, if someone's going to judge somebody on somebody having a coffee, it's like silly though.
Well, and the other flip side, that when people talk about that, I'm like, hey, these kids are drinking Monster drinks. Have you looked into what's in those things?
Not my son. No,
but I'm just saying, like, coffee. Europeans have been drinking coffee since they were 5 forever, and they're fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
We don't.
Look at who's here. Hey, AJ. There we go.
Thank you. I love it, Ed.
Oh, big old reach in here. I love it.
That is great.
Oh, no, that's a Halloween one. I don't think it's supposed to be used here.
I gotta break them in, bro. I gotta break them in.
No, how many sound effects do you have on there already?
I have a lot.
Do you?
No.
No.
I don't have that many. I got a few.
Thank you for that. I love that. I love that humor. That's my kind of humor. So he knows me already. I love it. Of course, he's going to say
that was funny.
It is funny. I love it. That's the kind of stuff.
I actually stopped in his stream right before we got on tonight. I was like, I typed in really quick, because I saw as I was like getting in to YouTube and he was streaming, so I stopped and just said hello. And
I'm going to ask this question, and it's going to make everybody nuts because they're not going to be able to unsee. But these particular glasses, I told John, I didn't have the problem with my other glasses, but these have that computer blue. Is that what's causing this glare more than my other glasses that doesn't have that? Is that computer protection stuff on your glasses? Does that create more reflection? I don't
know, but if you talk to Doc Rock, he says it's all garbage. That blue light thing.
All right. Well, I don't know if Doc Rock's guy would ask on that, but look, I'm not saying it's not garbage. It does help my eyes not get as fatigued, but I don't like this glare, so I'm probably would just get it without it next time. Just curious. I just thought I'd throw that in case anybody knew of that. And
I don't know because I don't use those.
That's fine. What's this going here? I'm doing like the late night so this is going to be a little bit maybe more into what I saw in your live with John the other night, where your intro and your outro, which I thought was really slick. Yeah. Kind of had I guess it would have a Carson kind of a vibe or a Conan vibe to it, that talk show kind of thing. Right.
Oh, I see. I'm just reading a little bit ahead. Sorry.
Are you? Okay. Thinking of having a voiceover from last week, something like that. And I'm in New York and I'm trying back. Okay.
Yeah. So moving on up.
Yeah. Yeah. or that voice, the guy's like, oh, tonight's show is going to be John from Coffee Tech. And I thought that was really cool. And so you got that kind of Ed McMahon voice. Of course,
Letterman type of thing.
Oh, Ed McMahon would be a little bit slower, probably a little bit more drunk for the people who remember Ed McMahon. Oh, yeah. I love that guy. Somebody brought up the Mountain Dew thing. It's better than Mountain Dew or something. Coffee? Yes, it is better than
it is. It's better than Mountain Dew is horrendous, but I do love Mountain Dew, man. It was so precious at one time.
When I was growing up, I grew up in Mississippi and it was so hot and humid all the time. And at that time, it seems like now you can't find it, but they had the real glass bottles in the school stuff, not the cans. Yeah. And man, on hot days, there were two things that I would get. Well, three, but yes, Mountain Dew would be great, which is terrible, of course, for you when you're hot and sweaty. Dr. Pepper, and I think Orange Crush is the other one.
Yeah,
and it was so cold coming out of those, like ice cold, and they're just like, oh, it's so great. I'm having flashbacks. From Flash in the Pan is causing me to have
flashbacks.
I like coffee with milk and sugar. That's how I like it. So how do you say that's not a big fan of black? You know what, Sammy, I'm a half and half with sugar. I
like black coffee in bed.
You like what?
Black coffee in bed.
Bed?
That's a Squeeze song from 1981.
I don't know that.
Really? Squeeze? You don't know who Squeeze is?
I know Squeeze is. I just for a reason that song. Maybe it's just because I don't know the title of it. Probably if I heard it, I'd be like, yeah.
So I stopped putting sugar in my coffee over a year ago. So I was just going with just like a half and half. And then I started using stevia because stevia is a lot of people don't like it maybe because it doesn't taste as sweet or it tastes a little weird or whatever. But I can do 2 sweet stevia and it's much healthier than sugar. It's actually okay to have. So I do the 2 stevia. But do not take aspartame.
No, they stay within the aspartame equal.
NutraSweet's the same thing. It's the same thing. So
I'm with you on the stevia. That would be the one I would go to. I just found those after a while. I'm like, I can't. I'm just going to have the sugar. But like you, I really cut back. And what I realized is I finally found my balance of just maybe like a half a cube of sugar for some reason worked enough. and then a little half and half. And I'm not a pure black coffee drinker either. I can't do it. My dad was, and
my dad is too. He's a
my dad's like, I was in the Marine, son. They didn't have half and half sugar like you kids. I'm like, well, okay, thanks.
It tastes like oil, and we liked it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it was oil. We got it out of the Jeep. Well, okay, you're a tough guy. Whatever. Yeah, I don't do it straight up either. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, on the glasses, Brian said that may be a placebo, but my family buys into the blue light blockers. He's still holding strong. I've done some research, and I would say, there's people who can hold strong on both sides. It always gets back to what you want to do. These were not whatever. It doesn't matter where I got them.
I think
they do seem to help with a little fatigue, but I'll tell you, I keep my monitors pretty low for this, so I didn't find my eyes were fatiguing that much.
That's what I was going to say. There's certain settings that a lot of them have that take the blue right out, actually. And if you do that, they say that that's more effective than anything.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. You can test these blockers. And I'm going to tell you right now, on Amazon, 90% of the stuff that's being sent out, if you test them, and I have, they're garbage. They're lying and not protecting anything. Now, I paid more for these, and they do pass the blue light test. The question is, getting back to John,
I don't have any legitimate information about this, though.
You had Doc. You brought up Doc.
Yeah, that's what he said. I didn't back up. I don't really know, if it's legitimate. But that's what he feels.
He'll fight to the death to protect his name. Well, it's an interesting thing. I mean, look, I take my eyesight seriously. We should. We take our ear seriously, which we should. And I wish I had done it sooner because I have a little ringing in my left ear from drums. But that was done probably, I was told that damage probably was done 10 years before inner monitors were really available for the general public, sadly. But once they were, and we were using them a lot, I was glad to go to that. Yes, I used to use sugar and cream. Now it's black. And a lot of people that fought their way off of the sugar and cream have said, oh, I'm so glad because now I can taste the coffee the way it's supposed to. And it's really great.
Or you could taste that the coffee's horrible.
And that's a flip side. So I guess it depends on, what you're doing there.
Right.
So, honey, I've done honey. It does work, actually. I like honey in coffee and tea.
I like honey in general.
Especially
if you get local honey, it's really good too.
Yeah, it's good for your immune system, allergies.
Immune systems, yeah.
Here we go. He likes frappuccinos, but I had one 2 years. I went through a period. I think when I was traveling a lot, I think I did it just because I wanted something fun, and frappuccinos were available, and so I kind of got addicted to them. But I got to tell you, they just crashed my system, and they were terrible. So I got off. It's probably been 2 years too for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I never get one like here or there, but I mean, every now and then I actually had a new Starbucks coffee, which was the most expensive coffee that I've ever bought, but it's the almond milk honey white flat is amazing.
Yeah. The almond milk does add a neat little nut flavor to it. Honestly, I do like it more than I thought I would.
And then the honey is like really good. And then, the flat it's really a good coffee. Wow. I can't buy it though. I treat myself like once a week.
Flat coffee is one of my favorites from Starbucks that we'll get. I do like their ice cold brew coffee now is really good. But I'd say that flat of all of them, it's not sweet. Like it sits in there and you can add what you need to it, but I like it. I'm with you on that very much.
And the coffee that I taste at Starbucks, I gotta admit though, for the majority of all the Dunkin' Donuts, the coffee itself tastes better. And I prefer the blonde coffee over the dark, but
that's what I'm drinking right now, honestly, because I pulled it out of the fridge and just went with it quick because I was having problems with my coffee.
Yeah, I like that. You're having problems with your coffee?
I was having problems with my XLR.
My coffee might go XLR.
And so I just grabbed I had my blonde stash.
I just can't wait till you're like, take a deep breath, and I'm like, I don't have to deal with this issue any longer.
Yeah, I'm all in, man. I look.
That's been a pain in your butt. It
is because of the way I use it. If you are a gamer, the gamers, picked up a lot of gamer friends, and what they told me is, hey, it's perfect for a gamer, and because they don't move anything.
They don't want to tab out of a game. You can't.
No, they can't tab out, but they don't move anything. I moved this computer, so I unplugged a few things, and guess what happened? The system said, and everything got just tangled up when I plugged it back in. If you're going to leave it, set it and let it, it worked great when I didn't move anything around. Yeah, set it and let it and forget it. So the gamers are like, yeah, we use it.
So there's a little K-bomb for you.
Oh yeah, I love that K-bomb. I got excited when I heard that K-bomb yesterday. Yeah. I told you to leave that on when I'm 24/7 when I come on.
I'm just wondering if this sound gets through StreamYard. I wonder if it all gets through or not.
What do you mean? I'm hearing it.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like a lot of times with certain things we think get through and that are muted a little bit.
I will say this will. Well, I don't know. It's weird with the compression to know what will get through. We'll be able to pull the tape up and listen to it, which would be kind of cool after.
That's why I'm doing a little bit of this, because I do want to see if it gets through and how it.
Marlene said they make special eyeglasses you can get. Use one online. They work great. Yeah.
Get everything online.
Yeah, you can. It's true. I'm not gonna. Yeah, and this is a fact right here, by the way. Not all coffee is equal. That's for sure. There's some coffee out there. My dad, that Folgers coffee. Let's just not even. That stuff is maybe you could use for like your plants or something. Like if you want.
It's like shredded up mulch.
Yeah. I look. Starbucks is overrated. I would say it's overrated. I don't buy coffee out much. I've heard Seattle is really good. Seattle's best. I mean, I just buy the the Lanza or whatever that stuff from Italy. Oh, it's great stuff.
Oh, the guys at work were talking about that actually.
Once you have that, my Italian, the drummer is from Italy, and he's like, "You're drinking the wrong coffee." I'm like,
that's funny you said that. Just last week, they were like, "Have you ever had that?" And they asked me, and I'm like, "Never had that," because I'm not like a stuck-up coffee drinker. I'm not
either, but I know what I like, right?
Yeah, but now keep that in mind, because I'm gonna have to get that from you because I want to try it. But
absolutely, yeah, I can absolutely get that to you.
The other thing is,
I love it. You'll love it, actually.
My sister and brother who own the coffee cafes, and they get their coffee straight from Haiti. So that's where they get the coffee from Haiti, and then it gets picked up in Philly, and then they bring it to their shops. And they do that for the reason of that the money is going. There's a certain percentage that's going back to help build schools and stuff like that.
I mean, in the end, my perfect way is really good coffee from wherever. And then you grind it. Now grinding, some people hate grinding their own coffee. That's just the best way to do it if you're going to do it.
It tastes the best. I mean,
it tastes the best, and God, it smells so good when you grind.
It is fresh,
it's just really fresh. And yes, it's the Lavazza coffee. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Lavazza.
Yeah, so we need to get that.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We
They've got a few different. If you go to most stores, they've got the red.
Is that the yellow wrapper?
They've got a yellow or gold, and they got the red.
I know it.
I think the red would be their middle, and then they can go much stronger and lighter.
What's the one you like?
I'm in the red.
You're in the red. Yeah, I've been telling you that since I first met you.
I know, but I like that coffee red too. Yes, I am in the red. I thought you'd say you're in the dark. That would be more. Oh, here's Brian. I don't know what to say to this. I use coffee pods. I want to support him and say something nice about this.
Yeah, I'm not a coffee pod guy.
I can't do it. Is that like the Keurig pods or just any pods in general?
It makes sense. I know a lot of people that use it because then you don't make extra and it's just this and it's really fast. So I guess those things are good, but I'm just not a pod guy because
I would drink more than one. I mean, they're not great for the ecology.
I'm a calculated guy as far as how my money goes in every direction. So
I'm not going to
tell that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I will go out first thing in the morning for it. Can you go out now? Just get that for the morning.
I mean, John, what's wrong with her that she can't get off the couch? Go out at
it's open 24 hours. That shop, right? So
that's the pods do serve a purpose. I mean, if you're traveling or you're just one person, some people only drink one a day. Now I know people that have
people are insane.
it depends if you have the type of, you can, a lot of the, they are insane, John, but
People don't know what they're missing.
I agree. There's no way you're going to get the kind of coffee we're talking about out of a pod, but watch that.
Hey, did you notice my buy me a coffee in right here on the screen?
Well, it's kind of, hang on, calm down. I can't see it. Hang on, I gotta get your name.
No, I'm just saying if you noticed it.
I didn't, because it's not big enough on my screen. You know what's funny? I turned off the names. Oh, there it is. No. Oh, I have the comments up. I'm just hang on a second. I'm having a brain problem. There it is. Buy me a coffee at
perfect. I think it's a good size. And then the thing is, supposedly this is supposed to fire off if anyone does. So that's
subtle. This is just maybe the most subtle cry for a coffee purchase.
No, you know what it is I think at one time I'll probably go buy myself one or have my wife buy me one, but it should fire off and go right over my head and just say someone bought me a coffee. So I think that's going to be kind of cool to see. I think Sammy knows it probably too, because I saw Sammy had this recently and I was like, why am I waiting? Like, I need to do this. I need to get this on the screen. And so it shows, and just like the stream elements. So if I get a subscriber, it should show up on the screen. And those things are cool. People love that.
No, I think it's great. I'm way behind you on these type of things, but you're just in that sitting right now, evolution wise, of your journey, that these are really the good timing for you to be pulling this stuff together.
Maybe I'm going to see if I fire one off.
Okay. Are we going to do it? It'd be over the head, right? So if I read a comment, it's not going to get.
No, I'm going to do the subscriber. Just make sure it's working.
Okay. So let me leave you up here for a second.
No, you can if you want. Well, we'll see if this works. There it is. Yeah.
I guess the thing that bums me out a little bit, it's still not you dancing.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well,
not yet, but these are real subscribers, by the way,
John,
too.
It's no different than, here we go.
Okay. That's cool. At least I know it's firing off and working. So
yeah, it looks great.
Now it's fun, right?
Yeah. It wouldn't get annoying at all if people were doing it like every 30 seconds.
I would never say it gets annoying at all, ever.
But think about it. Like, you would be able to do a stream. That'd be kind of funny. We got shot back at here. Poo-pooing my pod life, guys.
I'm kidding. Like,
no, we're not poo-pooing it, because
what I do like is some of the flavors. I'll tell you that.
You know what? I can't even comment on this without sound like a hypocrite. Years and years ago when we were on the farm, I was really young. I mean, it started like I was 20
years ago when we were on the farm. Why am I just up here by myself? I'm not even talking.
I'm just trying to make life miserable for you. And or everybody
years ago when I was on the farm.
Do you remember? I was so not a real coffee drinker. I thought I was. I wasn't. I got those little, they're in the tins. There's those Carnation coffee, and they're flavored. Essentially, it's sugar with maybe a tidbit of coffee mixed into it. I started drinking coffee that way and thought I was a coffee drinker. So I can't comment about someone's pods, for God's sakes. That's ridiculous. Sammy wanted to jump in and say, I wanted to say this is not coffee talk, but I got Jeffrey's comments into Ecamm. Ha ha ha, with the plugin that John told me about.
Save that for Thursday. Why don't we save this stuff for Thursday, Sammy? I mean, come on, man. Dropping this on Jeff's stream. You better come in and repeat this on Thursday.
That's really funny. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. That's fine.
Yeah, I think Sammy kind of liked it. I think he just liked it. You know what I like about it? It's just no brainer. You don't have to move it. It's just like, it just comes right up where it is. You can move it, but there's no reason to. You size it up, and then it's like, you don't touch it, you don't mess with it, and you just.
I remember, if I'm not forgetting the stream, you guys had, he was putting that together like in the middle of the interview.
Yeah, and I was like wondering what he was doing.
I saw him. You're just talking away. And I saw Sammy just doing like the Dr. Frankenstein. I keep touching it.
Yep.
Dr. Frankenstein thing. And then bam, all of a sudden, kudos to him. Yeah, kudos to him to putting that together live in stream. That was impressive stuff.
Yeah. But it is impressive. Like if people just try it, I think it's so easy now. It's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, it was great. And yeah, I thought it was a great fun interview you guys put together there, talking about, it was, the thing's topic was about something about, can you put a community together or build a channel or something? I can't remember. I'm going to
still
mess
good,
this up. Yeah.
Do YouTube in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought you guys had a great conversation about that. So Sammy, great job on that as always. And
good questions.
Yes, he did. So well done. Danielle says he has a little training and stretching before he dances.
It's true.
What? You need to do it. I think it would be important for you to get up and do a little stretch. Here I am. I don't have anything popping up on my stuff yet. So
I'm going to do that. I'll probably put a little video together and do that. I mean, why wouldn't I? It's just perfect.
I think it would be a hit.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay someone in Fiverr to dance for me.
I'll do it. It's just a matter of time though. So I'll figure it out.
Look, everything in time. And yeah, so I mean, on that subject of yesterday, I just wanted to kind of follow up, say, I think I told you in our chat, but I'm excited for the vMix evolution. There are some wonderful ideas, and John really kind of took the tip of the spear on that in the research. I do have the vMix ready to go. We've been doing some peer-to-peer testing. I thought it went pretty well. We had one issue which kind of drove us, which was I couldn't get rid of an echo in the audio. That was the only thing that we had a hang up. We had a lot of success in the peer-to-peer stuff.
And that will probably change come when you get that other thing.
I don't think it's worth messing around with until we get the XLR.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice because we're both running the same audio, and that's going to be, I don't want to say a better way. I think it could be a better situation. Audio is the easiest thing to get mucked up. And so I think with both using it, it'll be a little bit easier to talk that language as we go in our setups. We don't normally have these issues with the cameras and things. It's that audio is just a nightmare.
Yeah. I'm all set up to go most of the time. Only when I mess with things. And that's why, like I told you probably 3 times now, I like having the M50 in front of me because I'm not taking a EOS R down to go do a photo shoot and this and that. It's just like, it's now that can be used for anything, and it's a better lenses I have for that. And this just stays. That's it.
It's one of the things, I've thought about. I'm not near where I want to do it. A5100 I could use as a primary, so I could do that with the 6400, but I just don't think it serves the stream well enough. It's your 50 in it does. The 5100 just lacking in that. I don't really like it for that. So, but whatever, I can pop it on and off. But I know what you mean. Anytime you start disrupting your setup, it's a hitch. It could be a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
He just sent you some money, John.
Why is he sending me money? Don't send me money.
Yeah, I bet he bought a coffee.
He probably did. You didn't have to do.
Will your coffee thing go off?
I thought it should. I'm looking to make sure that it's here, and it is.
Sammy, did you buy him a coffee? Because I want to see it go off over his head. I wonder how much lag time that takes for it to process.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. That's what exactly.
Well, at 9:59, he sent the message. So obviously he bought it a minute or so before.
I mean, I have the overlay showing, so it's just a matter of time that if it.
Yeah, he did buy your coffee, which is great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great way to test these things. I had buy a coffee, but I don't have a thing up. So
I wonder if it'll go off.
Nobody buys me coffee.
I'll be disappointed if it doesn't fire off because it's set up to.
It is a little disappointing. Well, let's see though. I mean, I don't think that's an instantaneous thing, but because the subscribing thing, I can understand where it's a little more instant. It's not a purchase portal, but let's just see if there's a little bit more processing that has to go on before you get hit with that. I don't know. I bet there is. So we'll just keep it live for a minute and see what's going on. And what are you want to talk about this?
I mean,
Thursday?
Sammy, you have the same thing set up. This is tied into that, right? So if this is up here, that should fire off. That should fire off the buying of the coffee, I believe.
But maybe he really didn't buy it.
Oh, there's Ed.
Ed, thank you for stopping in. And you have a great night. He's
been stopping in very regularly.
He has. He's been a wonderful supporter. My post-production is done, and I have to wake up really early.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, very much. Thanks for staying so late, actually, on a school night. You have a good night, my friend. He says he might know why.
Oh, dang.
Sweet dreams.
Whoa.
What's up? Did you find it?
Dude.
What's up?
How did I not realize this?
You okay?
Yeah, there's a couple. I didn't get this email. Let me see this here. Someone, oh my God.
We're in bated breath here, guys.
Someone sent me 3 coffees 5 days ago.
3 coffees.
Holy cow.
Who in their right mind would buy you 3 coffees?
I don't know, but I just
who would want that much caffeine in John's vein? Do they tell who it is so we can credit them?
I'm gonna send the message back because I feel embarrassed now that I missed it. So
oh no.
I'm supposed to get an email about that, but I didn't see that.
So you don't want to say who it is until you fire.
Yeah, because I just think it's like
I get that. No, it's fine.
Thank them.
Sammy's saying that is the overlay not in 1080p.
What do you mean?
Yeah, no. The overlay, is he saying the overlay? Well, I could understand if it was 720, it'd be shrinking, not expanding outside of the window.
Yeah, whatever you put it in, as long as it wouldn't be above, it would still show.
Yeah, I would think it would still show, unless I'm missing something.
I don't know where it is on this. You see, I haven't really dived in deep into this Buy Me a Coffee. I'm actually looking at the page right now just to see where this little overlay is. So I see where my link is, but I don't see where the GIF is exactly, where that fires off.
Just out of curiosity, does it show?
Here's my stream alert. Oh, shoot. Let me see.
Is this a user error?
Oh, you know what it is? Let me see. I copied this and tried to put this in vMix, and it wouldn't let me do it for some reason. With the it was working in OBS. I'm actually in the process of trying to get it to work right now. We'll see if this works or not.
Sammy's like sitting on bated breath. What? Tell me what it is.
I think
he's following what's going on.
When I try to put the this little usable GIF thing, whatever, it won't take for some reason.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what is that? What did I add? Support us. Oh, it's the same thing. So that took. Is it the same? All right. Well, just continue on. I'm going to try to make this work in a sec. I'm going to close it.
He's going down some rabbit holes here to try to figure out what's happening.
I got to figure this out because this stuff drives me nuts.
It drives me nuts too. When you're like, everything's set up, everything's ready to go. And then and this is typical. And then it doesn't work. And then you kind of want to capture it in real time because it's sometimes the easiest way to figure out what the problem is.
Well, I'm also like, I would have wanted to work for Sammy. And now
you should refund his money and then let him buy it again. Or he can just buy you 5 coffees, one at a time.
Okay, so I added that in, and this should have worked. So it's weird. Okay, well, I have the link in there, so it is properly in there. So,
well, Sammy's using Ecamm right now, right? So he's not.
It's something I'll have to check. I'll have to buy myself one and see what happens.
I'll buy you one. I know you're Jones, and I'll go.
No, don't do that.
Oh, I'm messing with you, man. I bought you a coffee, right? Yeah. So what do you got on the docket for Thursday? We might as well just go ahead and dip into if you want to talk about what you're going to talk about as we kind of head in a 10 o'clock hour here. Or are you just going to be struggling with this, and I should like turn you off for a minute or what?
No.
I can see I guarantee you this is how you are when you're off stream too. And like just something goes wrong and you're trying to fix it and your poor wife walks in and
that's not true.
She's like, you never talk to me when you're in the I do that. I get so focused on like if I have a problem, like just can we, I
thought it was going to fire off. And so now it didn't, but now it's like, not going to be exactly perfect as I want it to be. So that's all.
Oh, you're kind, Sammy. Don't stress it. I'm going to earn those coffees here soon.
Can you see that though?
Oh, I do. Hang on a second. Leave it up. There you go.
So I dropped that link in because it does show that he did buy me one, and but I wanted to fire off, so I'll have to figure that out for next time. Unfortunately,
do you think you know what it is?
Well, it wasn't accepting the link to get fired off. Maybe because I just set it up. I don't know. It wasn't working the way it should. And so it wouldn't accept the link to fire off. And then I think I just put the link in there for my buy me a coffee and I forgot. But we'll see as it goes the next time. We'll see what happens. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, don't be sorry.
Oh,
it's a good place to be checking this stuff out. We're kind of on a loose Q&A kind of coffee talk thing tonight.
Buy me a coffee is another thing that we don't talk about enough either. And what it is, it's a way to support a content creator that you feel has given you some good feedback on some topic that you're working on. And like someone just might watch your stream and then all of a sudden just say, hey, I want to reward you with something. I really thank you for doing this or that or the other thing. And, sometimes I'm just pretty impressed all of a sudden when you look in something or someone sends you something like that. That is like a nice gift. That's for sure. Like, yeah, really.
Well, at home, it's that next step. It's like a tip. You know what I mean? Everybody loves a sub and a like. And then sometimes people are like, well, I already subbed and liked or I've already subbed and a like is fine, but this really, really was important to me and it really helped me and I want to do something. So it's kind of just gives another way to reach out and that extra thank you. I think
it's like doing a super chat for a guy, you know what I mean? And this way they don't take a ton of your money either. So that's a nice thing too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like this, like she says, she's from the Mommy Lala says, Lala says, I'm from the Philippines, and the best method for me to support my favorite creators is to buy them coffee. That's the other thing.
She has bought me coffees. And another thing like that I just didn't expect that was really something else.
You were really helpful with the camera and some of the other
whatever
to help you. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like when you're across the waters or we're not really close, it is a nice way to reach out and give something like physical, tangible in a way, and then not be stalkish. It's a way of just giving something. It's really personal in a way to do that. And I think what it's saying is what you did was very personal to me. And I want to really show you that.
Some people just out of the blue though, it just seems, like you don't expect it and you see it and like, what, why, I'm not poo-pooing it. I love it. Touches my heart that you guys do that or anyone has done that for me, but it just, I don't know how to explain it though, Jeff, because put it this way, I guess this is like, we're brand new at doing all this kind of stuff. And like when someone does that, it does feel awkward to me,
It does. I mean, I'm still, when anybody comes in here and says hi, it still sends shockwaves of like, wow, to me. Right. So, the coffee thing, that extra step of something starts to kind of make it real. You're like, did I earn this?
Right. It's realistic. It's like, really, someone did that for me. That's just really, it's really nice.
I think we're just those kind of people too. We're like,
but
we put it out there, but we're just not sure. It's still hard to accept that. I think.
I do see bigger YouTubers though, like seriously bigger, and they have some of them have a hard time accepting money, or earning a living doing what they're doing because they've like say last year, they were just working a job and all of a sudden now they're actually on YouTube and they're content creators and they have to actually make a living and they're actually charging for some things. And it's really hard for them. They've talked about it numerous times and,
yeah, well, nothing prepares you for that. If you're not from that world, then okay, I know I need to make a video, but then you're like, well, you're really not prepared a lot of times to be trolled or to feel those negative comments or feedback. So there's that. And then when the accolades come, you're really not prepared for that.
No.
And then when people start buying you a coffee and there's a monetary attachment to what you're doing on that, it starts to shift things a little bit in your world, I think.
Yeah, it touches you a different way. There's no doubt.
And that's cool. That's part of the process. I hope, you never lose. I don't think we would ever lose the thrill of that, because that's kind of the best fun we do it. I'm happy with subs and people saying hi and whatever we do as a community. So money is never a thing where I worry about it. Neither do you, but it's always like, wow, it's a shock, and it's a lovely thing. Do you have a minimum followers for coffee? No.
No, you can have 0.
Anybody can go out and start. In fact, I would say start. It takes 2 seconds to fire one up. I fired mine up. Well, maybe I had a sub. I probably subbed to myself. But you can fire it up, get it going, get your your name, so you have it if you can. Like John Ryan, I don't know what I ended up doing. I
think it's just, like sometimes when people come in and you're streaming about a topic, and when they stroll in, it might be exactly what they're looking for. They need that answer, and they come in and they ask these questions, and then they get those answers right then and there. Because I know, because I've done that. Like, I'll be in a stream and I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed to hear. And this is really good info. And I've sent a super chat, you know what I mean? And that is the same feeling, I think, where at least they see something where they can give you, and they appreciate something, and then someone just reacts to it. And that is a nice thing. That's for sure.
It reminds me, as somebody who's done web development for endless years, there are a lot of people who write free extensions and other types of software for people, just on the side, and it ends up saving them. And a lot of times it's free, but you'll see often, in like WordPress, where the plugins are, they're like, oh, if you want to donate $5, it's the same idea. A lot of people don't, but I often do, because to John's point, it often saved me. I was cooked without that. And I'm like, so thankful. I'm like, how much can I pay you for what this did for me?
Right.
And I think that's the same type of reach out as what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then people are in different, places in their lives. And like, I get it. When you're a kid and you have no money, it's not like, it's almost like if you got some kind of app that would do what you needed to do, you're like, oh my God, this thing's awesome. And then, but when you get to a certain place in your life where you can return those favors, then you kind of do it, because you realize that these people that are making this stuff happen, it's pretty incredible. Some of the software developments, like even just like DaVinci Resolve. I mean, just look at it's free. Like, it's a big deal. Or Audacity, or a lot of things that we tend to use that we take for granted.
Or now, I mean, I don't know if anybody's been using Sonar Producer, which was like $800 when I got into it. It's a full on. It's like DaVinci I guess it'd be more like Premiere for Windows. It is an amazing software for multi-track recording. It would be the de facto for Windows, really. Now, BandLab, I believe, you get that free. I remember it was being pirated I don't even know how they're making money. I don't know what they're doing, but it's an incredible product. So if anybody needs multi-track recording, look for BandLab and go out there and grab yourself a full-on beautiful IDE. It's a wonderful setup. But like in the case of DaVinci, to kind of piggyback that idea, I'm like, free, that's great. That's all I need. And it kind of is. The only thing that's now I'm looking at is, well, turns out it doesn't leverage the GPU well at all, if at all. And so that's one of the reasons Studio Works, it's worth the $200 and some odd $290 plus you get the tool if you want the cut tool keyboard. Is you can go in and toggle on full GPU. On my GPU,
you have to do that though. Yeah,
you can't do really though what you need to do for rendering in the free version. You just can't. You can go into NVIDIA and try to do what you want, but DaVinci is not going to allow you to leverage.
No, I did. I went into DaVinci and changed it. You did go in and you did check it, but that's not what I'm talking about. No, it's not optimizing, I think, to the highest ability is what you're saying.
No, it's not.
But you do need to check that stuff off if you got that,
Oh, you absolutely need to go in and I did all that.
Check it. I think DaVinci sets it up because it recognizes what's there, but you got to make sure it's checked off too.
Yeah, I'd say most of the time you're safe out of the box.
But you can optimize. I don't think a lot of people, because there's a couple videos that I was watching and I was just curious. Guys using like a 7-year-old laptop. And if you optimize or you use the other, what did you say?
Proxy media. I would say this. Yeah. And go ahead. You finish your point.
No, but it was
no,
that
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, that you can use definitely older laptops by, you can scrub through stuff and it's pretty smooth. Now, are you going to have to wait a little bit for the proxy files to go through? You might know better than I do, but I just know I looked it up because I don't have to deal with that because I've got some pretty, decent computers.
Here's what I think. I could get by. My computer's powerful enough to get by with the 4K, but I would tell you it's not what I would want if I want to be more efficient. So two things came in play, a couple, but I fixed one of them. Moved my second drive on this computer really uses HDD. It came with, it was ridiculous. The SSD is the operating system, so I wanted that for storage, but that's not going to work when you're pulling data or media files. So I bought the external SanDisk, which is great. To your point, I wouldn't even use with 17 now with DaVinci. Don't even use optimized. It's a waste of time. The way they've set up proxy media is so much better. Okay. Easy is all get out. It's amazing, and it's everything you say it is. I have a great computer, and it was like, with the 4K, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but it really pushes it when you do the multi-camera, right?
Yeah. And so and if you want to be detail work and kind of slide in detail, it's really frustrating. Yes. And when you start layering, because I had multi-cameras, like you say, it was like, oh my God. I did run and to your point, you were going to have to get a coffee because the rendering's going to take 30 minutes or so, depending on the size. It could be more. Yeah. But it saves so much time. Like run it overnight. Go to bed.
I was going to say that's a process, right? So the night before, right? You just do that, and then it's set.
Absolutely, because it is insane the time saving and how smooth that playback is on anything.
And so I haven't done that, but I do want to try that one day.
You'll love it. Now, you don't always need it, but when I did my sub clips, I didn't run my sub clips through that, but I ran my long 2-camera. I had my 2-camera footages, my multi-cams. I ran them in there, all of them full. That eats up a lot of overhead, and so I did proxy those. And
I didn't use it for my multi-camera. I pulled in 3 different angles, but I should have used it because it was definitely chugging a little bit. But if I would have used it, it would have been like smooth as butter.
It will, and I will say that if you're using anything before 17. It was kind of a hassle to do it, which is why a lot of people were using the optimized media. But the way they have it set up now, it's dreamy smooth and dreamy easy, and the ability to toggle back and forth on that moment. Oh, I want to see my original footage. Just toggle it. Just you can see it and use it and go back and forth.
And that was another factor of why I was like, maybe I want to get a laptop. You know what I mean? Because I could just have proxy settings, and I could have I think the least. If I'm not mistaken, I think the least video card that you want that has the new encoders is a 1660.
Yeah,
I believe the 1650 I think does not. I think the 1660.
Right, I would say that 1660. I mean, this thing's got a GeForce RTX 2070.
You got a 2070. Yes, you don't have an issue.
No, and yet I still proxied that video because I was still getting that. And like I said, if you need it now, maybe you need to get through, maybe you could deal with it depending on what your scenario is. Just render it, go to sleep, all your stuff, it's done.
Right.
I'm like you. I really like having my development on a laptop to be mobile. And then my library is on this amazing new SanDisk, which you can't see. So this is really smoothing out my process in a lot of ways to be mobile and powerful. Yeah, you bring up a good point about the optimized, and just I was so happy to see how well they've integrated that, and then the Kino media management stuff and ingesting and on the management and subclips works so beautifully with DaVinci, and the way that you can just integrate with it and just create a flow. It's really like it's one software, the way it works together.
I don't like working on a laptop a lot, but
why is that?
I don't know. I just feel I'm not, it's not something I've always done, and it just feels like I'm cramped with everything, and
I mean, that's why
logos.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, when you're working with these, same thing with the sound editors. I love having that's why I got this like 37-inch wide monitor, you know, because just having that real estate for all those tracks and everything is really nice.
That is true.
It is true. And you kind of, you don't, it's not as important with, I'm running what, 15-inch on this. It's fine for video, because with video that you're not going so much this way as this way mostly. It just depends, and especially with the cut tool, which gives you that overall macro timeline all the time.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yep.
I'm really anxious to get into that tool more. I played with it quite a bit, and then I realized I'm going down a path that's not appropriate for what this type of video that I'm making. But I really got into it enough to go, oh yeah, I'm gonna.
Did Aaron say he got it, or he was gonna get it?
The tool itself, the speed editor. I feel like he did get it, but now I kind of wonder. B&H has it for $295 for the studio and the speed editor. My only question to him was, I could have sworn he came into chat and said they had a deal for $195, and that made me kind of think, is this worth waiting around, or should I just buy it? But personally, because I want to get rocking and rolling after this video is out here, like really fast, I think I'm just going to buy it $295. I think it's still worth. I think it's a great deal.
They do a couple times a year with drop in the price, so you always got to keep out watching for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it just depends on if you want it now or you want to wait, right? For the $100.
Sometimes for $100 you can't wait if it's really a big deal. So,
and I really, because I'm already in the mode and I've been so schooled on the speed editor, like I know what we're doing, everything on the buttons right now. I feel like it'd be great to get under me.
Right.
And so it's just a judgment call, but I would agree with most of the time with you that sometimes waiting is just the best. I'm just on the fence on when I want to if I want to wait or I want to just grab it and go. Like I was really happy to go get the XLR for Elgato. I think that was because you are right. That thing's gonna be sold out.
I think so.
I do. I think it's gonna be harder to get pretty soon, especially as we get into fall. I think as people start getting back into fall, there's gonna be a little bit more rush back to people going back to YouTube to make stuff and do things and find things.
Right.
And same thing with gamers. And I think that you're going to see people jump on this thing pretty hard.
Yeah,
my sense. I don't know. I could be wrong.
And then moving forward, if my son, if he decides to keep doing videos, that the camera that they made might be an option for him, and then he can always borrow my camera if he has to do film work. But the camera itself, it looked like a really good picture for what it was.
Yeah, I think it's a great picture for the price. Come on. I mean,
people will say it's not worth it, but I don't know, like for someone like him, it is, because not everybody has to have a mirrorless camera, and for him, for years to come, he can use something like that and it's plenty good.
And also it's nice to grow. I think it's okay not to have the best. And I think I have to use it for a side camera. I'm using a $19 HD from Jellycomb for a lot of third camera stuff, and it works fine. So I guarantee you the Elgato is going to look way better. And some people are just like, I don't know.
Well, what came into my brain? I think this was like 2 nights ago. I'm going to sleep and you were talking about you were having lag on, and you were thinking maybe it was that Cam Link or whatever.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you pull that Cam Link into OBS and you don't pick the right code that it has built into it, it will definitely lag.
Well, then I need to check that out. Make sure.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it is, but when you go and pull it into OBS, it's going to make your resolution, and then you're going to go and break it down. It's like MJ.
Oh, wait. So, okay, I know what you're talking about. So I'm looking at it and I go into my properties, I'm assuming. Are you talking about properties of the cam setup, right?
Of the cam. Where'd you go?
Oh, I don't. Sorry, everybody. I switched scenes and I think my camera just dipped on me. So I had a couple things go on. The ball joint slipped on my thing.
You got slippery ball joints.
Yeah. Is that? Can I? Oh God. Can I get that fixed? Or is that permanent?
Slippery ball joints.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a real deal, man. It's a real affliction.
Okay. Yes. You pull it in, and then you got to pick a video format. And I'm just curious if you had one picked or not, or if one was picked, because you got the YUY2 and the MJPEG. And so,
yeah, because what happened? Interesting. So
I wonder what's built in there now.
So my Cam Link itself just shows any underboot format, which you can handle, I'm sure. But I'd have to dump out of here for a second to look and see.
No, you just right click and go into properties. You don't have to touch anything.
It's in another scene. I don't have that camera.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I'll go black for a second. Don't worry about it. Here, we'll pull John up.
And then, just double check it, because it was something that I was wondering.
Yeah. So it shows any under that.
Okay,
so
that should be fine, because it will default to whatever it is. And then you got your resolution, and then you got your match output.
Yeah, I got match output FPS.
And then what color source? What color space? 709?
It says default.
Usually
709.
Yeah, 709. And then what about the buffering at all?
Auto detect.
Okay. And partial range? What color?
I'm at default, so let's set that to partial, actually, just for the heck of it.
I don't know. It didn't seem anything that stuck out like a sore thumb.
No, but you never know. But here's I'm coming back. The other thing on this issue. So I think something's up with that 5100. Now, you have mentioned from day one.
Always felt that way.
You felt that there was something odd about it. Lately, I'd have to say I think you were correct. I would say, now, I'm just going to, in my defense, it's the only camera I've ever owned, so I didn't have any way to really balance that off with any other knowledge. I'm going to turn this off. But I'm just watching. I feel like it's degrading. Like, I feel like something on my B cam and everything. I don't know. I'll shoot some more footage with it. I think it's fine when I do streaming for the most part yet. I don't know. Something's not right on the recording. And I'll run it up against the full on cam and see, but you doing a little focus speed test here?
Yeah, just checking it, because with a camera, you always have to reset a webcam every time you come on your computer. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of times, but to me, it doesn't look as good as I like it to look with a camera. So that's all.
No.
Everybody else is like, it's great. It's fine.
How's my picture tonight? You looked really sharp tonight. Even in this 720 Quagmire, I think you look really good. Once in a while, it goes pixelated.
I think, well, a couple, like about 6 or 7 times you froze up for a little bit. So I think that when things look good, I think your internet's running good. And I think sometimes it runs a little slow and it catches.
Yeah, that's weird though.
I know you've been saying that, but it's been happening for weeks now where you freeze up several times.
Huh. Well, the only thing I can put my finger on would be the TP-Link.
Well, you never know. Like when I did my stream, when I was walking around upstairs, it was definitely, put it this way. I got it set to, I think 5K I run at with my stream with vMix. It was telling me after a few minutes I was running at 1700, and it was telling me to slow it. So that's how much it's fluctuating in my area. All right. Yeah,
that's the thing. I've noticed that more with Spectrum. I didn't have the amount of juice that Spectrum offers up, but with AT&T viewers, but I didn't get these fluctuations either. Didn't have these drops. That's frustrating a little bit to me.
Well, it's all frustrating. Because you pay these people. No, it is.
I know. You pay the people. I am going to, because I'm hardwired in, I'm going to yank out and go direct. I am not loving. I told you I got a self-managed TP-Link network, and I'm not liking it at all. So I think I'm.
Well, you can always just test it out and see how it's going.
Oh yeah, I know.
But I mean,
it's been a little goofy the way it is. it was hard coded with the same IP address as my routers, and it keeps wanting to go back to that IP anyway. So
Yeah, you said that, right?
yeah, I think it could be something to do with that. So I think it's just time for me to get a different,
Right.
Stop screwing around with it. I need to know because I can't keep having these freeze ups. That's really annoying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't figure that out. Well,
But
I tell you what. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it is what it is, though. You battle these things because I was doing that stream, and all of a sudden I get a yellow flash from YouTube saying you're running low on bandwidth, and
that's the thing. I've been eyeballing StreamYard all night. I haven't seen one thing come up about my my connection. Like sometimes you'll see it come up and say,
no, but that's a sign possibly, because then that would be StreamYard's issue, maybe, and maybe like through, but maybe you're
possible. Yeah.
But anything's possible. Like I said, I go from streaming at 5K to 1700 in minutes, and then right back up, and it never hiccuped the rest of the stream for an hour. So the fluctuations are real for everybody. I mean,
it is, and especially with like a cable or Spectrum, where your neighborhood can just suck you dry at certain times. You just don't know because people don't realize that, but it's like you're sharing all that. So in your neighborhood.
And then plus, the upstream is always a battle because I'm not lacking on down, but it's the upstream where they fight you with giving you a usable. I wish I could have 100 up instead of having 30. Yeah,
they'll tell you 30. We all know on a good day with a wind behind you, you'll be lucky to get like 26, 28. Some, in reality, when you try to run it, and then a lot of times.
What is that fluctuating like? And so if I'm getting 30 and then it fluctuates to 20, I mean.
Well, yeah. Because my down is probably fantastic, even no matter what. How can you eat up 400 plus, right? But let's just say somebody else in the house is watching Netflix even. Like we still got connections going back and forth, and who knows what else I've got up. Quickly that 26 gets degraded, just by all sorts of things. So I can't have
affected by downstream.
No. I'm just saying, but there's still some upstream going on there to connect. I mean, even though it's minor, you still have this back and forth packages going on. If you're watching something, you are sending back information.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going back. It shouldn't. Yeah,
it should be small. Who knows what else they're doing online. But I don't know. I mean, but you have a kid in the house, and he would be using way more. Maybe not this time of night though, but
he's in bed, he's sleeping. Yeah. But I mean, the other thing is though, his computers is tapped at a certain amount. Like everybody outside of me is capped. I cap everything because first of all, no one needs more than 100 megs down. So
do you really throttle up at all for everybody, or do you leave that?
No, I keep it at 100 for everybody but me. Like downstream, and I get
downstream,
I get like 340 here, which is like, dude, that's plenty fast for anybody.
Oh no, I mean nobody's going to even allow you most of the time to use that speed. I mean, people don't realize like servers, like even Netflix, all of them are throttling. So it's not like we're actually getting when you download something 300 speed. They're going to tell you.
Some places you do, but I mean,
rare, man.
You're right. Like, well, when I'm downloading something, I mean, it keeps on going. I've gone pretty quick on some things, but like if it's Netflix or something like that, no.
If you're at if something is for downloading a file, you're more likely going to have better luck at getting a truer speed.
Yeah.
But in general, a lot of times people don't realize it's like they're going to cap you guys. They're not going to allow you to really do
I don't need any more down speed at all. I could care less because I'm not down like literally it takes me to download like 5 gigs. It's literally a minute and a half or something, but it's the upload, it's the upstream, which I would like to have more of. So I'm like about 30 to 35. And, I would like to have like 50 would be nice, and it'd be a constant 50. So
you need as much buffer as you can to get away from any kind of, when we're putting up these kind of feeds.
Yeah.
It's nice to have it. Apparently, if I'm freezing up, I'll have to go back and see if it froze up on the
but what's crazy is people complain like crazy by me. Like everybody complains. And now I've been here almost a year. No, I've been here 7 months.
Is it a newer subdivision or what?
No. No, it's been around, but I'm just saying, listen, I understand the service that I have. They've gone downhill a bit with their customer service and stuff compared to 20 years ago. But
Sure.
the thing is, I don't think these people know how to run their own networks in their house. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they get, not that I'm a genius by any means, but everybody pays for the router that they send you, and
Yeah.
they charge everybody monthly. I mean, I jumped right on Amazon, and for $65, I bought, the router, and it's
Yep.
like now it pays for itself in 6 months.
It
And
does.
then from there, like, you have to realize that your wireless router and your router, I mean, I was saying modem. I paid for the modem. And then,
Okay.
but the router also, a lot of older routers, not even like that old, they could literally be 2 years ago. You could have something that's capping at 100 megs down.
Yeah.
They're
Those-
not gigabyte connections in there. So you're usually capped at like 100 megs down, and then maybe some of those older ones, they might have 1 gigabyte connection. And so that's where you got to see what is going on with that stuff. And then so this is the only thing in the house that's hardwired, really, is this PC right here.
Yeah. I'm pretty much the only hardwired thing. And Brian, you're right. Normal people just don't know how to manage networks. And I get it. It's not, if you really look at the full chain of what could be messing you up, it's just over people's ability. And
They don't even care. They just want it to work.
well,
It's one of those
and I
things
get
where
that too. You're right. But
they just,
I mean, if you don't understand the process, it gets difficult. And I think a lot of people too, they're like, oh, I have a 5-year-old router and I'm just going to take it with me and that's use it. And it's like, well, you have no idea how much has changed in 5 years. So your Wi-Fi is just garbage at this point.
here's the thing. Like, I'm a guy that knows a good amount about tech, but until I got into this, I didn't need anything, right? So I had the 2011 Mac, right? And I had the same router in my house for 8 years. I didn't need anything because the computer was bottlenecked. Everything was bottlenecked. And so then I was like, oh, wait, let me go. And they're like, yeah, well, you can come here for free and pick up the new router and or the new modem. That's no problem. And so I was paying for years for something that was faster, which I didn't even realize. No one called me or told me. And then when I wanted it, though, because I needed it at this point, because now I got the newer computers. And so it had a capability of gig download, And so I was like, okay. And I went there and bought it. And then I found out, okay, now I need a new wireless modem. So I went down this whole thing this year where, like, I knew it was there, but it didn't matter to me because we never upgraded. So if you're one of those people that's got the same computer and then all of a sudden you get this. So I just know, like, everybody up and down this whole development is complaining about how the service has been horrible. And I have not had the service go down in 7 months one time.
Yeah, I think for me, I kept up on it because as a web developer and other tech stuff I was doing, I needed it constantly. So I needed the fastest modem router combinations that I could get,
right?
To deal with all the large files back and forth. Otherwise, I don't think I would have cared. Why would I have cared at that point? And so that kind of worked in my favor. But here I sit with something's bottlenecking, or it could be, like I said, it could be just in the neighborhood. I don't know. I haven't really looked. But, I'll look into it and see. But I think, from my own standpoint, I've been talking about yanking that thing out, just going direct into my current router, which it's going to take a second. I didn't want to do that, but I think I'll do. The only reason I got this anyway was to run NDI, and I wanted to isolate NDI, which is better to set it off. And it did work. It was much less latency to run it that way through Cat 6. But I'm not using NDI for anything. I did it early on because I'm like, oh, I want to do this and run 2 computers. And then I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, but how much? I was going to say, there's no need for that if you have a decent one computer. Like,
I wanted to do it because I saw people do it, and I wanted to do it.
A lot of people are asking me, like, they're always like, oh, Johnny, you're running NDI. I don't.
Why?
At one point, do I have a need for that? So that's what I'm wondering.
Even gamers have got the technology to a point where they're gaming on their own stuff, running Discord, doing all this, and they're like, I don't need to run.
Well, more than anybody, those guys might run a dual system. You know what I mean? But
yeah, it's just the NDI thing is great, but it's waste of time.
Like, if you look up vMix, they have a standard of what you want to have if you're going to run 4 cameras, right?
Yeah.
And I have no problem running 4 cameras and having 4 different angles and running vMix and running my stream and having browsers open, because the other thing is I got 32 gigs of RAM in here. So it's like everything seems to flow pretty well, and I won't upgrade until it's, efficient to upgrade. I'm not going to upgrade for 20%. I usually don't ever upgrade until at least I'm getting 50%.
I'm the same way. It's just a waste otherwise. You're just not getting any bang. NDI tech is cool tech. It has a lot of practicalities.
But when would I need it? Like at what point?
You don't need it. I mean, it's going to answer. Like, you just don't need it.
I wouldn't think so.
I went down that rabbit hole. It's why I set that up, and I haven't even torn it apart since, because I'm like, I'm not using NDI. Why would I even do that? I just same with my plumbing. I don't care how it works. I just want water on demand.
That's it.
Yeah. Of all the things I do, like I love working. I do my own electricity. I'll build a roof. I'll do decks. I hate working with plumbing. I hate dealing with the plumbing. I don't know why. It's tricky, and I don't want to do something so dumb. Like, I don't fear electricity or do anything, but I fear making my basement flood.
My father-in-law is a master plumber, and he actually just replaced my main valves that come into the house. So, and so we had the town come out and check the main valve out in the street. Then they came back to us and they're like, it's rusted. We need to replace our main valve out in the street. And so, okay, they replaced that, which I'm glad, because that's what I wanted to check too. I mean, if I have a problem in here, they would have showed up and my whole house would have flooded. So this is important things that people need to realize. Right?
I ended up I don't know if you know, I when I moved off my phone line, which I was late to do and wasted a lot of money doing that, and I went to Ooma. So I did the voice over internet using Ooma. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ooma.
I don't know Ooma. Remember that Jackrabbit or something?
Yes, yeah.
I used that for faxes.
Whatever, it works.
Yeah, and that was years ago.
So the Ooma works great, and you can port your own your old number. So I did. I kept it. My dad was in a nursing home, and he's the only guy who calls on the line, and it's free, and it works. And it has an answering machine, and you can use your own phone.
Magic Jack. It was
cool. I remember the Magic Jacks. Yeah. This is cool. It's own phone. But they sent me a thing, which I thought was kind of cool. But I have security cameras outside I put on. But they sent me a thing, and I was like, this is cool. It's for water detection in your basement. I'm like, yeah, I need this, because my biggest fear is that. My biggest fear is water. My neighbor had that and about killed himself. Like he was down. He didn't know anything about houses. This poor guy. He shouldn't have owned. But he had water up to his knees, didn't have the power off, goes down, and he calls 911 on the phone. And the first thing she says is, "Are you actually in the water in your basement right now?" And he's like, "Yeah." She goes, "You got to get out of there. Get out of there, sir."
Electrocuted.
He's the same guy. He's from India. Lovely guy, but doesn't know anything. Same guy who was in his attic and went right through the ceiling because he thought all the weight could support him. And so he went right through the drywall.
I won't laugh about that because I put a foot through that one time, but I lost
balance.
I didn't think I was going to be supported. I lost balance, but
yeah, there's a difference, and that's not fun when that happens.
No, I was miserable that day. I was so upset that day.
It's not a good time.
It was like 115 in the attic, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, just when some words fly. And that's the thing. The NDI is great for like camera management, for the PTZs.
Yeah, but I run PTZs at work, but the thing is, like, what do I have a need for it?
Yeah, and like he says, I feel like John would find some really clever uses for it, and I just feel like
that's what I want to figure out.
But Jeffrey wouldn't.
I don't know.
But Jeffrey wouldn't find any clever uses for it. I don't exactly. I know he didn't mean that. I just like, I don't know why. I just kind of like, huh.
Well, I'm a superstar.
Yeah, I guess. Jesus. Oh my God. You probably thought you probably thought you would never find a way to get that in, and now here you are. You actually got that lovely.
I get them all in, Jeff. I got
paparazzi
one right now.
I'll set you up. I'll set them up.
The end has come for you.
Sounds like my wife's like the wash machine going off or something.
Your last days are here.
Is that what you use for the news thing? Like the 60 minutes. We should have like our own version of 60 minutes clock.
Yeah, did you hear the one I had though for the music for the?
I
You
did.
think it was bad? I think
no, it was good. It was good. I liked
but
it.
was that thing too harsh? It was like
I need to hear it again to know.
It was a little harsh. The one part.
Well, string it up
Can you hear it?
a little. It's not very loud.
Yeah, that's probably too low. John thought it was like too loud because
He said that, but I didn't think it was.
I didn't think it was either. Now, when I listened back to the stream, I didn't think it was.
Well, maybe my sound's not up high enough.
I think when you does the didn't, it was too much.
Really? Oh. I don't. That's too low, man. That's like barely
too low.
Yeah.
News bulletin.
I like it, but you seriously can push that up a little bit.
Even this one. That should be kind of perfect.
Right there. Maybe I don't know. My sound's at 75%, but everybody's a little bit different. It depends on what you're doing with it, what you're doing. I think it's not as present as I think just like a nano hider I would like, but other people can chime in. And Brian, I know, man. I'm messing with you. I'm in that. I'm coding for sympathy. You know me. I need sympathy all the time.
We cheer for J.A. Smith.
Oh, jeez.
Brian,
that's a good crowd. Boo. No, we would never boo Brian. He's our guy. 60 questions in 60 minutes. I like it. We got to come up with a segment for that.
Or like,
are we hilarious? I don't know if we're hilarious.
It's all this stuff. I'm ready to, like, when someone says something, they're like, and I'll be like, whoa, shots fired.
That's a timpani. It's not a shot. Timpani roll. It sounds like it's like a boom. I can only hear the attack, but it sounds like a timpani hit.
That's probably cutting out. That's what I'm saying about the StreamYard sometimes.
Oh, yeah. It's cutting out the.
So, guys, tune in next week when we talk about what?
The radio tune in. I'm just like, first of all, that's pretty funny. Second of all, probably many people are like, what the hell was that? Because we don't listen to radio and have to dial in stuff anymore. We're on Sirius Radio, but I love that sound. That's my dad driving. We can't find a radio station anywhere.
I remember that all the time.
That was great. I love that.
A couple things are like if someone does something and it's like, whoa, he's riding the train over you, pal.
I love that you thought of the uses. Why does the train have to be riding over me?
Because that's what people say, like
no, I've never heard that.
Or ride the train. I don't know. Or
I haven't heard.
Guys, get on the train. We're gonna take this to the next level.
No one says get on the train. We're taking it to the next level. Get on the ladder. We're gonna raise this up or something.
Can't do a ladder. I can
That's
do a ladder. Jeff, there's something wrong with is your mic making? Is that right? Your mic?
You know why that frustrates me? That irritates me just because of the problems I was having on
You hear that? Dude, that is going to work great. I'm going to use that.
It is. Oh, people are going to totally buy it. Don't you worry about it. That's going to be great.
And it keeps on going. Isn't that awesome? It goes
I love it. It's just because you're going to get people hanging up calling back. That's the problem. Oh, Brian. I'm going to put it up here even though it's for me. Been doing some really cool stuff behind the scenes. You all don't even know. Brian's been a real source of help in my overquest. But it's some things are turning out much better than I anticipated. I'm really excited for what is developing, so I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Have you guys even seen a train?
The train. I work on the railroad.
I've seen a train. That did sound like 1898 train, but
I took a steam train to the top of a mountain in West Virginia.
Okay. Oh, steam train.
Yeah.
A real on steam train. I have an in-law who actually refurbishes old trains.
Okay.
Engines for museums. It's really cool. Like they take all the wood out and they do all the woodwork and it goes back into that and the sides and everything. And it's quite like years to do. It's really impressive. I couldn't do it.
I know people that do that too.
I didn't know train refurbishing was going to be a combat sport.
Very big. Everyone's doing it this year.
Everybody's doing it, Jeff. It's not just your friends.
Not just
my friends.
Right,
my friends.
got friends that do that too.
my friends, they refurbish ships in the water. They don't even have to take them out of the water. They do it in the water. They do the bottom.
The thing about a ship is 2/3 of it's in the water.
True. Kind of like icebergs. But I think that's 90%. I think that's a lie. We're idiots. Well, brother, I think it's been great. A little Tuesday night, little quiet Tuesday night. This is dead of summer right now. We have really, I feel like next time I see you, well, my next stream next Tuesday is going to feel like we've kind of gone into a weird hump of the summer.
Yeah, we've been saying it all around.
No, well, I just mean like I feel like it's ending. Like I feel that kind of deal. I just feel like already next week's gonna feel like August because we're looking at it and it's like, oh my God,
it's going fast.
Yeah, time flies. Brian wants to chime in and say he doesn't have a friend that refurbs trains, so I feel like he's the only one.
You don't know people.
You don't know people. Now I want to tell you. Let me know if I freeze because I see a little. First time I've seen a little insignia up here. The sounds were much better on your vMix than what's coming out over this. The sound effects. Yeah. I mean, I know you know this. I'm just reiterating what I'm excited about. Look at this. This makes me. I love this. It looks like.
We have a breaking news.
The reason I'm laughing.
Breaking tech news. Just
here it comes.
You don't know. Breaking tech news. Yes,
we need the typewriters clicking. We need
Elgato. We bought Elgato products. We did.
This is tech news.
Breaking tech news.
Is this breaking news, John?
Breaking tech news. This is big stuff. Big stuff.
John, is this fake news though, or is this real news?
Not the fake news. This is the tech news. This is big stuff. Big stuff. Photo shoot.
I feel like I can't take your news seriously. I can't take your news seriously when you're doing glamour shots.
No, it was cool though.
It was cool. You did a good job.
Thank you.
I'm going to come up with the poses. That was great. That's gonna look good on video because we both had the shots going.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that stuff.
Lala, did I have it going? Lala, we both had it going there. I feel like it's just going to be like Zoolander. We're going to have the pose off.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm going to work on my moves. I can't be second fiddle to this man. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to let some.
When I stand up, man, stuff's going to happen.
No, I can't. Some guy from Hoboken or whatever he is from. I can't.
Doing the lawnmower.
I'm going to do the refrigerator. I mean, the microwave. What's the other one? The sprinkler?
Sprinkler. I got them all.
Oh, God. I'm cutting this off of the video. I'm not putting this on.
Cut this off. Do an edit, please.
So, yeah, let's talk offline. Let's figure out our vMix plan. I got to figure out. I need to talk to you because I want to ask your opinion on it's nothing on nothing, but what I should do for the video when it's done here this week. And next steps because I gotta move on. So it's cool.
Beautiful.
I appreciate everybody stopping in. It was a light night, but it was a fun night. And Lala,
thank you, beautiful people.
Yes, you are gorgeous. Not just beautiful. He says beautiful. I think you're gorgeous. So I'm gonna one up him.
Yeah, I just like. I don't care. We have the people here, and we can rebuild them and make them better.
We can make them better. Like 6 million. I'm downloading this. Is totally going to just blackmail me. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. We're going to like end up in one of Brian's videos where we're doing like a photo shoot.
Well, you laugh, but I've already considered. I pulled down one of ours to pull off a shot of me for my trailer. I did a montage, and I pulled something off of that I did. I didn't. And then I looked at it. I'm like, I have ideas. I'm going to make a montage of our live streams. We have some really interesting moments already. I think we should do, I don't know. We're not quite at obviously 3 months, but I think at 3 months, our little quarter, see, we're at April, May, June.
We're close.
We're close, which is great. We ought to celebrate that maybe next week, but I'm going to do I wanted to do a montage on pull them down. Of course, I don't have your footage, but I have enough probably with my footage to, I'm to do just a little clip of our little anniversary of us. Are you okay if I do that? I mean, I'll show it first. I think it'd be fun, and then we can show that to people just as I'll put some music to it. We'll have a little good time with it.
Mommy, I mean, Lala is saying, I want to see a short of those wacky poses. Imagine putting a short up of that. That would be pretty.
No, it's part of it. So believe me, it's been logged. I'm going to have to go through about 1,000 hours of footage. But I'm going to use that as another way to kind of see if I can speed edit, if I can speed scrub. I think this would be a great test because they're heavy files, but also because, John, this has been a lovely, fast 3 months, and I would love to celebrate that by putting a little thing together. So
going quick.
It is going quick, and that's a good sign. So, so everybody, we'll keep on. I'll make an announcement on as we go. It's a nice pet project. John, thanks for everything as always, man. You're just the best, and man, you're my brother, and I appreciate it. And
thank you, bro.
Of course, man. This has been. We always talk about it. He's always glowing, but John has been more than inspiration. He's been just a confidant and somebody that I trust with everything, and I'm enjoying this, and I wanna ride as far as he'll let me go on this train with him. This little VMix train. So, Mommy, Lala, Brian, I know. Did you do it? Did you do the train?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't hear it. There we go. So we have a stream. We don't have a stream, but we have a Stream Buddy train. Well,
that's it. Yeah, that's
a Stream Buddy train.
Stream Buddy, not a Steam. Stream Buddy.
I didn't get it at first, but yeah.
I ordered.
No, you guys are amazing, and yeah. So you're all a part of this 3 months. I'm looking forward to putting something together to honor everybody. But I guess good night, John. I'll see you on Thursday, everybody. Thursday night, come on out for John's channel. We're gonna do our thing. Let's see.
Thank you. Let's do the more we don't talk about it enough, but I think it's so amazing. I really do. Like when I sat down and I think about this stuff during the day, I'm like, you meet people like halfway around the world and they're coming or watch our streams. We watch their streams. You got Lala, Trace, and then you got like Gary coming in from Singapore, and then you got like people coming in from the UK, and Marcus is out there in Europe also. And it's just like, it's just kind of like, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And sometimes like I don't stop to think about this. And then sometimes I do. And I just want to tell people that I do stop. And I really think about this sometimes. And I don't say it here, but it is truly amazing. I'm going to say this on Thursday also, because sometimes it just blows me away that YouTube makes everybody, that much closer in some ways. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, in a world where it's really hard to, as we get older, to find friends, new people in our lives, it's not easy. It's really difficult, especially in person, and in online. That's always a quagmire of weirdness sometimes, and for things to develop where people really kind of met and us and other people, it's really interesting and really cool to see, and it kind of gives me a lot of hope. And it's just a lot of fun. So, yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah, on a road, everybody, good night.
Thank you. Good night.
So Thursday night, come check us out. We have some fun stuff to talk about. Going to do our thing, but John, I'm going to let you go out, and I'll send us out to do our thing. So same night, everybody. So I'm going to head out, guys. Thank you for stopping in. It might have been a light night, but it was a lovely night because you guys were here. And sometimes that's the best time. And it's not about anything but you guys saying hi and giving us your love and just chatting and having a good time and connecting. So with that, I will see you guys on Thursday, and we'll get something rolling for next Tuesday that, maybe it'll be a lot of fun. So hang in there, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Have never been clearer. I see what you're doing to me now. They lie, they steal, they fool us. Deep down I probably knew that